colder this afternoon. We'll see some rain changing over to snow, temperature around 20 degrees tonight, but then overnight it is going to drop down to about 13 degrees. And that means anything that falls, rain and snow on the roadways could cause some very slippery conditions. Tomorrow's high, just 19 degrees. Currently, we've got cloudy skies downtown. It is 49 degrees. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by Summer at SLU. Find your kids' best summer yet at St. Louis University.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, hit it.
It's the Chris and Amy Show. You know who it is.
Also, if you didn't know, this is called the show.
Now, Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Good morning, and it's Friday. Hello. Hi, John. Did I wake you up?
Yeah, I was sleeping over here.
You're supposed to come in with a little excitement.
Well, you brought the goods today, big boy.
You got it. Amy Marks Coors, and stop me if you've heard this. She's on vacation. Amy's not in today. She'll be back next week, but I've got Hancock and Kelly for the next 45 minutes or so here.
Am I off the hook for always being ripped on for being out of town?
She's giving you a run for your money.
Giving me a run for my money? This lady's never here.
Yeah, I don't even think she has a residence in St. Louis anymore.
How many days vacation does she have?
A lot.
Because we've been here 15 years and we get none.
Well, we're only here when people are on.
You guys are here once a week.
Yeah, well, that's true.
No, but ever since Amy fell in love, we're here about twice or three times a week.
If you work once a week, do you get vacation?
No,
because your vacation would be the day.
Yeah,
so you'd have 7 days off.
We get nothing.
All right. So we want to hear from the listeners today.
Yes.
The voicemail number is 314-944-1120. Call and text us at the number that you've heard for decades and decades, 314-436-7900. And we're on social media at Chris Amy KMOX.
Time now for the top of the order. The top 3 stories everybody will be talking about.
Iowa caucuses coming up next week. Going to talk to my boys about that in a moment. And the United States and Britain striking at Houthi militants in retaliation for all the attacks they have done against ships in the area. And we got a weekend of cold weather coming up. Doesn't look like we're going to get much snow, if at all, but we do have the cold weather coming up, and we will discuss that also today on the show. So, as I mentioned, the Iowa caucuses are coming up, but first things first, I want to get to this. What percentage of each of you, of your being, would you want to vote for Andrew Yang?
What?
Andrew Yang for president.
Yeah, no.
Is it
what percentage? What percentage chance would you give yourself voting for Andrew Yang?
Zero.
Okay,
zero.
Now, what if I tell you that he tweeted this morning, that if he is president, the NFL will not be allowed to air games on Peacock?
I'm voting for him.
NFL.
I'm voting for him.
If I were president, you would never have to download Peacock to watch an NFL playoff game.
I think he's right about that. I hope the NFL gets the worst ratings ever for a football game.
They're gonna make bank on this deal.
Yeah, they are.
You think?
Yeah, they absolutely.
Why do you think everybody's gonna go subscribe? Are you guys?
Yeah. I say I'm not, but somewhere around 5:30, 6 o'clock on Saturday, as I'm watching whatever game is on.
You're going to give in.
Yeah, I'm worried about that.
People will either give in, they will go to somebody's house who has it, or they'll listen to KMOX because we have the broadcast for free.
Okay, so here I have Peacock, and the reason I have it is because I have. Hold on,
you're holding out on me.
No,
thanks for the invitation,
buddy.
He's got Peacock. He's over here belly aching about Peacock all during our show, and now he reveals to everybody in St. Louis.
Well,
that
I'm going to tell you why
Peacock
I have
and
Peacock.
has not invited me over to watch
because I don't have Peacock. I have NBC Sports. Because I like to watch golf, and as a result of that subscription, you get Peacock. So I have Peacock, but I've never tuned on Peacock.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have Peacock.
Yeah, you want to come over?
Well, it's about time, Kelly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Well, it's Saturday night at my house.
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock kickoff.
Yeah.
But I'll bring popcorn.
Yeah. We'll bring Tula. I would invite Chris Ranji, but I'm done inviting him to do stuff. He never comes anywhere.
Stop that. You always happen to ask me in the worst possible
Okay, so
times.
what you got going this weekend? You want to come by and watch football on Sunday?
I might have something to do, Sam.
Exactly. Enough said. I mean, it's like every time. Hey, and I get it. I realize that Chris and I are going to be work friends.
No. I want to hang out with you.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No,
Yes, I do.
Well, I guess I can go to Chicago if I want to hang out with you.
No,
that's where
we're going to hang out here in St. Louis.
All right, I want to ask you a football question, though, because I know I personally take great satisfaction watching you on Sundays on Twitter.
Because my team's stupid?
Yeah, and just watching a person who I think has such great command of the English language and articulate thoughts and stuff go through a meltdown on Twitter. It is so much fun to watch you do it.
Uh-huh.
Your coach gets renewed? Come on.
I mean,
what's that all about?
We are I think it's the only team I have, except for my college teams, that I refer to it as a we. Because I never say we. We did this, we did that. We are the stupidest football team that's ever existed.
Yeah, I can't get it.
At least the Rams, when they were losing on purpose, I know what they were. They had a purpose. They were trying to move. They were trying to get a brand new multi-billion-dollar stadium built in Los Angeles. That makes sense. The Bears are just stupid.
All right.
They're just dumb.
Second part of this question. You have the first draft pick in the draft this year.
Okay.
Should you trade down and allow and get a first draft for a couple of years, maybe going forward? Or do you take the quarterback and send the current one on his way?
What I think is happening is because they've kept former Mizzou coach Matt Eberflus, I think that means they're sticking with their current quarterback for another year. I think they stick with Fields for one more year.
So you think they'll trade
at
down?
least, and then see what happens, and then trade that pick.
They need to turn.
And here's why: there's no good reason, because if they did it this way, this would be the third time in a row they've done this, where they've drafted a new quarterback with a lame duck head coach.
Yeah.
And then fired that head coach a year in, and then given the guy a brand new coach and a brand new system. Can't do that to a quarterback 3 times in a row.
They need to turn that coach's name into a verb. When you really screw something up bad, you've Eberflused it. What an Eberflus I just did.
Well,
we used to call it an Elon.
Right.
But now it's an Eberflus.
Now it's an Eberflus.
The NFL to me is structurally flawed because it's a quarterback's league.
Yeah.
But once you pay your quarterback, as we're watching with Kansas City, you lose all the players around him. And so you got your $150, $200 million quarterback, but you don't have anybody who can catch the ball. And so there's 2 ways to go, right? Have the quarterback, hope he can convince other people to come and work cheap for you, like Tom Brady was able to accomplish, or do what the Bears could potentially do, which is draft a kid like what happened with Patrick Mahomes in his rookie contract. Hopefully he's good and you can be able to put talent all around him. You think the Bears are going to go all in on finding the talent around them rather than going for the young kid?
That's what I think will end up happening, and I kind of lean toward that's what they should do. That when you're talking about Patrick Mahomes, the difference is they had him working behind a veteran quarterback who had been around for a long time and kind of learning, and everybody knew that he was the successor. Fields could still be the quarterback for the next 10 years. You can't have that guy and then draft a young one to sit there behind him, because then all you've done is create chaos in a locker room. That's all you've done. So I don't think they'll draft a quarterback unless they trade him. And everybody's talking about this guy, Caleb Williams. So if I don't know how many people listening pay attention to the
USC,
draft, but
right?
even if you are kind of paying attention to football, you've probably heard the name Caleb Williams. People talk about him like he might be the next Mahomes. And I don't know. I got a lot of concerns about him.
It'd be a total bear move to let him go somewhere else and he becomes Patrick Mahomes, right?
Well, then that's what the danger is. If you pass on drafting him, he goes somewhere else and turns into Mahomes or CJ Stroud, then you've really messed up. Or if you let Fields go by trading him and he does the same thing, then you've messed up also. So they are in a very weird position.
I think the Bears have screwed up Fields. I think Fields has got a lot of talent. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he's being terribly underutilized or misutilized in that system.
You can run my football team because you are so right.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Well,
Anyway.
I hope he doesn't have to drive him in a bus to the game because that would be life-threatening. Hey, before we move on from this, I want to ask you guys.
Yes.
I got offered a ticket to go to the game tomorrow night in Kansas City.
Oh.
It's going to be below zero.
Yeah.
So I said no because I had TV, but
You
I
got
could have
Peacock.
but I could have gone
knew
over
he had
and gotten back in time to do our TV show. You guys wouldn't go to a game below zero, would you?
I have.
If it's not my team, I'm not going.
I
Yeah.
have.
You have gone to a game below
The
zero?
St. Louis Football Cardinals against the Buffalo Bills on Thanksgiving Day.
Did you
and
take your shirt
long
off?
About 19. No, we were sitting way up high.
At Busch Stadium.
At Busch Stadium, O.J. Simpson ran for 203 yards. If memory serves
Wow.
correctly.
Then what happened?
We lost. And he didn't. Didn't go so well for him after that.
Well, he's out and about. So.
He is.
So if it was a Bears game and you were offered a free ticket for a wild card game,
Probably
would you
not
go?
probably not a wild card.
Oh.
So you're not really a true fan.
No, I am. It's just that's real
Below
cold.
zero.
I've spent so much. This is going to sound. Well, I don't care. I have spent so much time in good seats.
Yeah.
And in temperature controlled environments,
Yeah.
watching games.
Yeah.
At stadiums that it's very difficult for me to go in the elements.
When my friend called me up and said, "Do you want to go to the game Saturday?" I said, "Well, do you not like me?" I was like, "Why? Who would go to a game below zero?"
Oh, a lot of people out there.
If you look at StubHub right now, the cheapest ticket to go watch the Chiefs play the Dolphins tomorrow is $48.
Oh,
that sounds about right.
There are a lot of those. There are right now. You can get pairs of tickets for 48, 50, 53.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, you could go cheaply if you want to sit in negative 30 wind chill temperatures.
Well, you just have to, dress accordingly.
How would you dress so you'd look like the kid from the Christmas Story?
Well,
you look
that
like
is
the
the
abominable
problem.
snowman.
And you're sitting in those seats, which aren't particularly wide anyway, which I've discovered over the years. And it makes it tough.
And the ends of that stadium are open, so it's not like it's enclosed, so the wind will be whipping through there. Yeah. Now, that's not going to be the most exciting weather game of the year, though.
What's that?
Or of the week.
You were just talking about
It's going to be Buffalo and Pittsburgh. They're expecting 60-mile-an-hour winds and over a foot of snow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's going to be
That's football there,
crazy.
baby. That's
Yeah.
football. It'll be running that ball down and up and down the field. That's going to be an interesting game.
Speaking
Pittsburgh
of
might
that,
surprise you.
this winter storm, it's pretty much missing us, isn't
What
it?
a fizzle.
Yeah, always. But up north,
Yeah.
you go a couple hours up north and then into Iowa and into northern Illinois and Chicago.
Chicago's getting pummeled.
They are getting it.
Yeah.
I want
They are
it.
getting it.
I want
do
it.
too.
I want it.
Why
I
would
want the
you
weather
want
so
that?
bad.
Because you
I
know
love
what?
it.
If
Have
it's
you
going to
ever-
be winter and it's going to be 0 degrees, I might as well have a foot of snow on the
Yes.
ground.
Thank you.
I don't want to drive in that stuff. That's
Where,
not-
where are you
don't
going to
drive.
drive on Sunday? You're not going anywhere Sunday other than to do the television
You
show.
literally-
hello.
John, you texted this morning and said, I can't drive.
I did. I'm not a good driver.
So you're not a good driver.
I'm
You
not
weren't going to
a
go
driver.
anywhere anyway.
Well, sometimes you got to go. And, if you got to go, you got to go, Raj.
You have to go to the bathroom? Should we go to commercial?
No,
Yeah, let's
I'm
go
saying
break.
if you got to go, you got to get in the car. And if there's snow on the ground, ice down there, that ice is dangerous, man.
Yeah.
You go swerving all over the place, running into things.
Well, that could happen later today. Whatever wetness is on the ground could freeze. So you better be very careful driving later. But we're not going to get that good-looking blizzard stuff,
Good.
which is a real shame.
It is a shame.
That's good.
John Hancock, Michael Kelly, Chris Ranji, all cozy and warm on KMOX.
Oh, yeah.
Come meet the Cardinals manager. It's Oliver Marmol Unplugged. January 18th at Tapawingo Golf Club. For more information or to purchase your tickets, go to KMOX.com/events.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to use less gas in your car. You can carpool to work a couple of days a week, use public transportation like buses or trains, combine errands to make fewer trips, and take a walk for any distances of a mile or less. And think about an electric car when looking for your next vehicle. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you have to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. It comes with a lifetime warranty, walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Learn to make money 5 ways with rental real estate. Double your money with apartments and get your map to financial freedom. And that map starts with a free workshop. Sign up now at lifestylesunlimited.com. Click on the Join Free Workshop tab and attend online or in person. That's lifestylesunlimited.com. lifestylesunlimited.com. Again, that's lifestylesunlimited.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential.
Hi, it's Scott and Andrea at Best Buy Flooring, sounding the alarm for all contractors. Holidays are around the corner and we have in-stock flooring for all of your projects.
Contractor pricing for carpet, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, carpet tile, ceramic tile, and sheet vinyl.
2 locations to serve you: 7301 North Lindbergh Boulevard in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Open 7 days a week. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring. Hurry in.
By government.com.
The 1878 to 1921 Morgan Silver Dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan Silver Dollar coin was struck for circulation. And now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right. You can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan Silver Dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks guaranteed. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure collector grade U.S. Morgan Silver dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American collector's pack valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan Silver dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-973-9819. That's 1-800-973-9819.
The voice of St. Louis. News that matters to you. KMOX.
John Hancock, Michael Kelly, Chris Ranji today on the Chris and Amy show. The Iowa caucuses are coming up. I know you've got a really great story. I don't want to get to it just yet.
Yep.
I'm going to do it after the break.
Sure.
But I do want to talk about the actual voting and what's going to happen on Monday, because they are saying that it will be the coldest Iowa caucuses on record. They are expecting temperatures before the wind chill to hover around -4. That's very, very cold. So we know the weather's going to be lousy. How, in reality, is it going to affect the voting?
Significantly. Well, first of all,
and who does it benefit?
Well, we'll talk it through. But John and I both have worked in Iowa caucus. Iowa's the coldest place I've ever been. And so -4, I felt like every time I was in Iowa was -4. But Chris, you understand what a caucus is. It's different than going and voting. It's a several hour commitment that you make. You've got to go to a gymnasium, sometimes a garage, sometimes a school, a library with all your fellow caucus goers. You all divide up into different factions, and this process unfolds over 2 or 3 hours. It's not a quick thing. It's a huge commitment. So younger people have got to find places for their kids to go. Older folks have to get there in a time when weather is not bad. But the infrastructure of these campaigns, with probably the exception of Donald Trump, has been working at this for over a year, building up those names, etc., for people to come and show and participate in the Iowa caucuses. And I would suspect that Donald Trump is going to do well because of the weather. Why? Because his support is so wide and so deep that I don't think the weather or age restrictions in terms of being able to deal with the weather, et cetera, will affect his folks the way that it probably will affect, DeSantis and Haley's folks.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get the sense that DeSantis' supporters are passionate about him in the same way Trump supporters are. But I will say this, and I don't know that this is the case. I suspect that it is. I don't think Donald Trump has like a professional ground operation in place, paid in Iowa, where you've got people paid, they're doing phone canvases, they're going door to door, they're identifying their supporters, they're databasing them, and then they're turning them out on Monday. Maybe they do, but I don't think they do. And if they don't, and you get bad weather, then you could have, I don't expect this, I don't predict it, but you could have a real surprise outcome in Iowa. If that's the case.
Would you say it's a mistake to not have that infrastructure?
I think so. I mean, but it also may be the case that Trump's support is so widespread and among the Republican voters that none of that matters.
Probably the biggest, most recent upset, if you will, that surprised everybody was Hillary Clinton being beat by Barack Obama.
Yeah.
And what people may not remember, Barack Obama's probably one of his most famous speeches, and obviously he's so historic, he has a lot of famous speeches, like being the first black man to be, was the "Yes, we can."
Yeah.
That comes from winning the Iowa caucuses. That speech happened the night of the Iowa caucuses. That's where he gave that speech and set that campaign in motion. And that probably was the biggest upset because everybody expected, because Bill Clinton had done so well in Iowa, he had been the president, he'd been out campaigning, and he, was able to deliver for himself. Everybody expected he would deliver it for Hillary, and Hillary would win. And here comes this, state senator from Iowa.
Yeah, and that's where the Obama campaign, this was back in early 2008, they really developed the use of social media as a political organizing tool in a way that no one had ever done before, largely through Facebook back then. But that was one of the things that caught everybody by surprise in Iowa, was how organized he was. I don't get the sense that any of the campaigns are organized in Iowa as much as they should be, and probably DeSantis has spent the most on infrastructure there. So we'll see, what happens.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that about the social media, and that would have been really the first campaign that was social media was a part of it.
Yeah.
Twitter was not a thing.
No, not
at
a
all.
thing.
I mean, I remember getting on Twitter probably a year or two later. Yeah.
So the other thing that may come out of the Iowa caucuses is it typically ends the campaigns for some folks. Campaigns don't really end, Chris. They run out of money. And that's what happened to Mr. Gephardt. And when he finished third, fourth in the Iowa caucuses, he was done. If Ron DeSantis doesn't finish second in Iowa, I don't know that he goes to New Hampshire.
Well, he's not even really trying in New Hampshire right now.
Yeah, but I don't even know that he continues on,
South
because
Carolina.
I think the money just dries up around him.
Well, they've squandered
$150 million already out the window.
Yeah,
on
they've
him.
squandered so much money. That happened in the McCain campaign in 2008. He ran out of money, and everybody thought he was dead. But then he came back.
Got a polling question for you that we'll ask, and also Michael Kelly, want to hear this story. We'll do that after the news on KMOX.
When winter weather hits St. Louis, KMOX is committed to keeping you and your family safe.
Let's begin our coverage with Roger Brand.
The road conditions around the state, they are covered.
With up-to-the-minute forecasts.
Let's take you to the Storm Center and AccuWeather's Dean DeVore.
We're watching another area of snow and ice.
And we talk to those who know the conditions.
Dave Roan is joining us right now. He is with St. Louis County Highway Department.
Winter weather. We've got it covered. Fast and live. From the dependable voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
This is Megan Lynch. I spend all day at the computer, whether I'm doing research, writing stories, or reading scripts. You may be in pretty much the same boat. Maybe you text a lot or you binge your favorite shows. It can all lead to itchy, watering eyes. There's actually a name for it, CVS, Computer Vision Syndrome. Now's the time to be seen by the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates to get some relief. Call them at 314-966-5000. The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are experts in diagnosis and treatment of vision issues. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and now they welcome Samuel Berry. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon with the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. Ophthalmology Associates, 12990 Manchester Road, a half-mile west of I-270 on eastbound Manchester. Call 314-966-5000 or go to youridoc.com.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
At 10:30, we have cloudy skies, a little bit of drizzle out there. 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, and heavy wet snow creating a big mess in Chicago and its suburbs, summed up in this way on CBS News Chicago.
From power outages to flight cancellations and out-of-control cars and trucks, we're seeing it pretty much all during today's winter storm.
And I just checked the website for Lambert Airport. Just a couple of flights into Chicago Midway have been canceled so far this morning, and a delay for some flights heading into O'Hare. Let's get our forecast from AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg.
Intermittent rain this afternoon will mix with snow and then change to all snow before ending early this evening. Temperatures will fall into the upper 20s by evening as it turns windy and sharply colder. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
The scrutiny ratchets up for a jet maker dealing with questions after what was nearly a mid-flight disaster. The FAA says it will intensify its oversight of aircraft production. Retired airline pilot Chesley Sully Sullenberger famously brought down his plane in the Hudson River. He says it's a crucial step.
FAA, Boeing, the airline industry needs to do a deep dive and make sure that every part of the design of every airplane is as it should be, meets the standards.
Checking the roads, we do have a couple of problems out there right now. A 3-car crash on 64 eastbound right before you get to Vandevetter. Looks like there's a backup there. The 2 left lanes closed at last report. Also a 3-car crash on 141 southbound at 64. The center lane is closed there. And looking at our temps right now, we've got cloudy skies, 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Hi, I'm PJ Vogt, here to tell you about my new podcast, Search Engine. On Search Engine, we tackle the kinds of questions that keep you up at night. Like, why are drug dealers putting fentanyl in everything? Should we be worried that Elon Musk believes that we're living in a simulation? And, for the love of God, is it actually unsafe to drink the coffee on airplanes? On Search Engine, no question is too big and no question is too small. Listen and follow Search Engine with PJ Vogt and Odyssey Podcast. Available now on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We are Andro Law, your St. Louis legal powerhouse. Auto accidents, work injuries, pharmaceutical litigations, we do it all.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
Broadcasting from the Onder Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX. If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee If your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
How much do you worry about your debt?
With over 15,000 I owe, constantly it keeps me awake at night.
Accelerated debt settlement can cut your debt by up to 85% and in as little as 7 to 12 months.
I could be free of debt in no time?
That's right. Other debt settlement companies can take years to negotiate down your debt, but accelerated debt settlement moves fast.
The sooner I don't have to stress about my debt, the better.
Exactly. In just months, Accelerated Debt Settlement's legal team will negotiate your unsecured debt down 60, 80, even 100%. Your debt from credit cards, student loans, timeshares, medical expenses, and more cut down 60, 80, even 100%. And you'll save thousands of dollars in interest payments.
Finally, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And a good night's sleep.
Now get free of debt in a year or less with Accelerated Debt Settlement. Just call 1-888-959-4495 and we'll get to work for you. That's 1-888-959-4495. 1-888-959-4495.
It's an NFL wild card playoff weekend. Let's get going now. Saturday, hear the Browns and Texans game at 3. When it matters the most. Don't have Peacock? You can catch the Chiefs-Dolphins game right here starting at 7. We know it's going to be a dogfight. It's NFL wild card playoff action on your home for Chiefs football. KMOX.
Hancock and Kelly with us on the Chris and Amy show. It's Friday, so they're always with us at 10 o'clock. We've got no Amy today. She's on vacation. Lord knows where she is. I'm Chris Ranji. Hello. So I wanted to ask you a real quick polling question before we get to Michael's story.
Great story.
Oh, you're
I don't want to build it up.
Yeah, you're building it up.
It's really not that. It's really not that good.
So in the last month, the polling, and this is just one poll, and you guys know that polls are different, and there's always fluctuation. So this is a Reuters poll that over the last month, the change in support for each of the Republican candidates, Trump, of course, is well ahead. He is right now at 49% support, with Haley at 12 and DeSantis at 11. But here's the interesting part: there are other/undecided voters. There are 22% of them. That is a 12% increase of undecided voters. Trump has lost 12 points in support. So he's down to 49% over the last month.
This is a national poll?
This is a Reuters national poll. Okay. Yes. Is it just coincidence that the number 12 is it's I can't imagine that it's like 12% of people have said, well, I was supporting Trump and now I have no idea, so I'm undecided. Is that mathematically how it would work, though?
Well, typically, a voter's progression will go from, I think I'm for this guy, then I'm not so sure. And at that point, you're undecided. But you're moving somewhere usually. And I'm not overly surprised, and of course the national poll doesn't mean anything,
right.
But it's going to be interesting to see. Iowa almost always produces some kind of a surprise, and you go, whoa, didn't see that coming.
Right.
I don't know what it's going to be, but I kind of suspect we'll see one.
Because in this same poll, DeSantis has remained the same.
Right.
Ramaswamy has lost a point. Haley has gained a point. So I don't think that you would say, well, she got his point.
Yeah,
and
right.
The undecided voters have taken away 12 points from Trump. But it's interesting to me how that worked out.
Yeah, but you look at New Hampshire. Christie was at, 8 in New Hampshire? And he was really trying in New Hampshire. But that's 8% if it's a close race between Trump and Haley. And if the Christie 8 goes to Haley, and he didn't endorse her, he didn't help her either when he got out. New Hampshire's going to be every bit as interesting as Iowa.
Do you think she even wanted the endorsement? I would think if I were
not.
Nikki Haley, I probably would be like, Chris, I appreciate it, but just hang on. Hang on till later.
Yeah.
All right. You got a story?
Well, so I've worked the Iowa caucuses before, most recently in 2007, 2008. Not 2008.
2004.
Yeah.
Dick Gephardt is running for president.
Dick Gephardt was running for president, and Mr. Gephardt had spent almost a year and a half working in Iowa. So we kind of knew going in this weekend, it would have been Sunday night. to give you the story I'm about to tell would be like it was happening on Sunday night and the caucus is on Monday. We kind of knew that it wasn't going to go well for Mr. Gephardt. So all of our big donors had come in from around the country. We had a huge operation, et cetera. And he was expected to win the Iowa caucuses. It was all go for Dick Gephardt. Just to refresh everybody's memory, that was Howard Dean and John Kerry were also in that battle as well. We kind of knew.
So it's the night before.
So it's the night before. We're at the hotel in downtown Des Moines, and we bring in some entertainment, which is Chuck Berry.
The legendary Chuck
from
Berry.
St. Louis.
Hey,
so
St. Louis
Chuck
guy.
Berry literally drives his automobile from St. Louis to Des Moines, Iowa, himself, and parks right in front of this hotel we're at in the circle drive that you would do to have the guys grab your bags and take them up to your room. Leaves his Cadillac right there, comes up to the room, and I'm there, and he says, "Hey, where's my check? Where's my money? Where's my money?" And he didn't say, "Where's my check?" And so somebody gives him a check. And he goes, "No, Chuck gets cash." And I was like, "What?" And he goes, "Chuck gets cash or Chuck doesn't play." And so I'm like, "What are we going to do?" So it's a Sunday night in Des Moines, Iowa. And so I'm going around the room to find somebody who maybe owns a bank who can go cash this check for us. So finally, we could go pull money out of ATMs, but it was going to be a lot of ATM withdrawals.
Thousands of dollars,
right? Thousands of dollars. So it wasn't going to be like you were going to be able to get this kind of money. So what are we going to do? So finally, we get somebody to open up a bank. We get Chuck this money. It's getting late at night. Tim Russert and all those celebrity are down there. We're waiting to go down and see our folks. So literally the money comes in. Chuck jams it inside of his coat pocket on both sides, has his guitar. We go downstairs in the elevator. We bring him out. Chuck plays. And, nobody really knows how many songs he's going to play. What's he going to do? But so he gives us a good 20 minutes. And all of a sudden, he's doing the walk across the stage. And he goes down the step of the stage while he's playing. Now, knowing full well, he's got a coat full of money that we had to go get taken out. And so imagine this. He's in a hotel and we're in a big ballroom. He plays off the stage and it's cool. Everybody thinks, oh my God, Chuck's going to play all around the room. He's going that way. He goes right to the doors where you would come in, out into the lobby, straight to his car, throws the guitar in the back of the car and starts driving back to St. Louis with a coat full of money.
Now, you said
what in the hell?
He had both breast pockets full.
Both breast pockets full of money.
Side pockets.
And the side pockets. I mean, it was a lot of cash that he had taken or that he was getting paid. And, he was supposed to be playing like an hour before that, and so literally, you guys, I'm like, hey, you want me to hold this to you till you're done? No. He's stuffing it in his coat, his pockets. He goes down and plays the whole concert with this money in and then walks off the stage through the ballroom all the way to his car, and that was the end of the concert. Nobody knew, is he coming back in? Is he going to keep playing? Whatever.
That is so awkward.
It was the craziest night ever, but
Did he
I'll
have a
never forget
band?
it when he goes, yeah, they had a couple of.
So did they keep playing while he walked off? And
yeah, they kept playing and then he was gone. He was just gone and it was over with. And he went straight to his car, and so we're all like, "What's happening?" He's like, "Oh, Chuck's gone. Man.
Well,
He's headed back to St. Louis."
I'll tell you what that is. He got burned before.
Yeah,
somebody burned him. I'm sure somebody did not pay him, or maybe it happened more than once, and he said, "I'm not doing that." Which I get.
Yeah, I get it, but I mean, this may have happened earlier in his life, and that became his standard operating procedure. We were in a situation where Chuck was going to get his money. It wasn't,
It had to be very challenging to having a cash business like that to figure out your taxes on that money. Had to be. I mean,
you think a man like that might get into some tax trouble?
I don't know.
Legend. I mean, and I'll never forget it because when we went downstairs, everybody, and by the way, the political world media is in Iowa this weekend, and they will all be there. So at that time, it was Tim Russert, and those types were all there. And so everybody's lined up to see Chuck. We definitely had the best party. We came in fourth. Good to have us over.
Hey, Alicia threw the good party.
It was a really hard night. I remember going to bed that night after we lost on that Monday evening. And like I said, we kind of knew in the days ahead of time it wasn't going to go well. and got on a plane to come back to St. Louis. And then Mr. Gephardt was at the convention center and announced that he was, leaving. And it was really sad because campaigns are unlike almost any experience you have in life. It's a business that pops up and goes away in a finite amount of period of time. You are literally with people 24/7. You create a relationship and a camaraderie. And even if you win, there's a huge letdown the day after a campaign comes to an end, because my entire life for a year and a half was dedicated to working on this campaign, and then the next day it's over with.
Yeah,
it's just gone.
Yeah, it's got to be like filming a movie.
Yeah,
or going on tour with a band.
And yes, John, you get that, but even working on statewide and local races, you get really invested, and there's a depression that comes after a campaign's over with, because it's
100%.
It's the central focus of your life for such a long period of time.
Poof, it's over. Yeah,
it's the friends you made along the way, right?
It is, and you sing songs about them.
Yeah.
Do you become friends with the people in the other campaigns? And
well, in those political primary campaigns, yes, you're all working in Ottumwa, Iowa, or some other place I'd never heard of. That and so you create. And most people are young, so there's a lot of heing and sheing going on, and relationships.
Never heard that.
Yeah, with flirting.
I know
and,
what you mean.
Yeah,
a
lot of flirting,
and relationships and that kind of stuff that goes on.
Probably more than flirting.
And those are kind of fun campaigns. So when they're primary campaigns, because you're all going to wind up on the same team in the end. It's just whose horse is going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
You want it to be your horse because you're farther up the list. But you get along. Now, the relationship like John and I've created, I don't think would be as easy to create in that situation. When a Republican and Democrat are running against each other on a national stage.
Remember our movie script? We got to write that movie script.
We got the best movie script ever.
It's incredible.
It's a true story.
I feel like you have told me about it. Is this the kind of thing you don't want to reveal it in case somebody steals it?
No, we're never going to write it.
We'll never write it, but we told it. But here's what happened. George Bush and John Kerry, that same campaign season, were in Iowa. Iowa was a battleground state.
Same day.
Same day in the middle of the summer.
In Davenport.
Iowa. And so you have the President of the United States and the potential next President of the United States all in the same place. Well, anybody who's ever been around a president, you're talking about the National Guard's there, the military's there, the police, the Secret Service. Every military body in the state of Iowa or policing body is in the state of Iowa. Any idea what happened there?
No.
All 4 banks were robbed because they were having dueling political.
That's right.
And so we came up with a script of disgruntled political operatives
Morgan Freeman and George Clooney.
Yeah.
And they were.
Are they interested?
One was a Democrat, one was a Republican, washed up. One had IRS trouble. The other was a drunk. They meet each other at a crowded diner, start talking and comparing notes, and they both worked on one had worked on one had worked on McGovern's campaign, and the other had worked on Nixon's campaign, and they strike up a friendship, cook up the idea to rob the banks, and then boom.
Because they knew if you have both candidates there, there'll be more military or more police per square foot than any place in the world.
So in your movie, they are still currently working
on
the campaign.
They're outsiders and disgruntled.
They're done. Yeah.
But they have inside knowledge.
No, they have the knowledge.
They know what politics is, and they know these candidates are all both going to be in Davenport at the same time on the same day.
And they have an experience, because when you start to work for these presidential campaigns,
could they
there's a huge security presence.
How about this? Could they have somebody on the inside helping them? Somebody who's still working on the campaign.
So I mean, if you drill down deep enough into the script, Clooney's character is dodging the IRS. And the IRS has finally found him, and the female agent with the IRS finds him and ends up falling in love with him. And she ends up helping with the bank robbery, and then they all
now
run.
She's in trouble,
and now they all run off together to Nicaragua at the end of the movie.
So they get away with it.
Yeah,
of course.
Does anybody get caught?
It is based on a true story, and that the banks in Davenport on that day in real life were robbed.
And I'm pretty sure they've never been solved.
That is I love this story.
This would be a good movie, wouldn't it?
If I was, I'll tell you what, if I was liquid enough, I would go ahead and support I'd be a producer on this film.
I'm
really.
We'll 436-7900. We're ready to go.
Who wants to get in on Hancock and Kelly's?
We need about $1.5 million to start. That's all it's going to take.
$1.5 million? We're going to need more.
We're going to.
You're trying to get Clooney
to start,
and Freeman?
No, we got to get the script written first.
We got to develop the concept. But I've gone pretty far down in terms of the script development.
So you wrote this how long ago?
5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Okay, so it's been a while now. You got to get 2 new actors. Who is it? Who are they?
I don't know yet. Well, you don't worry about the actors. You got to write the script.
Yeah, you got to write the script.
But you
got to
have
have a type.
You've
got to have a type in mind. And my types I had in mind were Morgan Freeman and George Clooney.
And they've got to be people who've been around, right?
Yeah.
So it can't be a young guy.
No, can't be Timothy Chalamet.
Who?
I don't know. He's apparently the hottest star in the world.
Never
if you
heard of
walked
him.
in here right now, I wouldn't
You've
know.
never heard of Timothy Chalamet?
No, I've heard of Charlemagne.
Oh my!
He was a big deal back in the 13th.
Timothy
century.
Chalamet, I think, is like the heartthrob of the world right now. Is he? Not?
He's with Kylie Jenner.
Oh, Kylie Jenner.
They were smooching at the Golden Globes.
Is he Willy Wonka in the new movie that's out?
He's in that movie.
Yeah, so keep
right?
your eye out,
Yeah.
John.
What's
You'll
his
see
name?
him then. Timothy Chalamet. He's one of these Brad Pitt looking guys where he's almost pretty.
Yeah, he's kind of the ladies love him.
They do. They like old Chalamet.
Yeah,
he's hosted SNL a couple of times.
It's not your traditional Clooney look.
You want to see him?
That was all. Oh, there he is. Yeah, no.
You don't like him?
I don't like the look of the guy. So, but shall or may is always one of the biggest debates in the legislature when you're writing language.
Have no idea.
Do you put shall or may? Yeah.
Which one comes with more weight?
Shall.
Yes. Shall is instruction that it must be done.
You got to do it.
May, you can,
right.
we might do this.
And those are the 2 most important words in legislation.
Shall
or
and
may.
Mm-hmm. You guys are really the best.
Well, we have our moments.
But looks aren't everything, Runge.
So what are you doing this weekend other than avoiding the cold?
Football, baby.
Football.
Meatless chili.
Hey, once again, you don't have to download Peacock if you want to consume the Chiefs game.
Go to Michael's.
It's right here on KMOX. Or go to Michael Kelly's house.
Yeah, come on over.
Is everybody invited?
Absolutely. Just give me your address and we'll all parade over together.
All right. We're all going to Michael's house for the game on Saturday tomorrow. All right, boys, we'll see you next week.
See you, Ron. Have a good weekend.
That's Hancock and Kelly. I'm Chris Ranji. Nate Gatter is going to be in with me for the rest of the day. We go until 1 o'clock on the Chris and Amy Show. Did you see this? Next on KMOX.
This is Tom Ackerman. At the end of last Cardinals season, manager Oliver Marmol wanted to get together with fans, make himself available to answer all of their questions. And it is happening Thursday, January 18th at Tapawingo National Golf Club. For $75, a beef tenderloin dinner, 2 complimentary cocktails, and an intimate conversation with Ollie Marmol. Purchase your tickets today. They are online and they will go fast. KMOX.com/events.
Hey St. Louis, this is Kyle McClellan. One of my favorite charity events, the All In for Life Poker Tournament, is coming up on January 20th at the Machinist Hall in Bridgeton. They've got great prizes for the top finishers and a big stack of Visa gift cards for the champ. Proceeds from this event benefit the Focus Marine Foundation, SCAD Outreach, and my charity Brace for Impact 46. This event sells out, so get your tickets now at allinforlife.org. That's allin4life.org. Play for the cause, play for life.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
Join KMOX for an exclusive evening at Tapawingo Golf Club with St. Louis Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol and Oliver Marmol Unplugged. For just $75, enjoy a delightful beef tenderloin dinner, 2 complimentary drinks, and insightful discussions hosted by Tom Ackerman. Gain unique insights into being the Cardinals manager and what he expects for the 2024 season. Secure your tickets now at KMOX.com/events. Oliver Marmol Unplugged. Don't miss this special evening at Tapawingo Golf Club, January 18th.
How much do you worry about your debt?
With over $15,000 I owe, constantly it keeps me awake at night.
Accelerated debt settlement can cut your debt by up to 85% and in as little as 7 to 12 months.
I could be free of debt in no time?
That's right. Other debt settlement companies can take years to negotiate down your debt, but Accelerated Debt Settlement moves fast.
The sooner I don't have to stress about my debt, the better.
Exactly. In just months, Accelerated Debt Settlement's legal team will negotiate your unsecured debt down 60, 80, even 100%. Your debt from credit cards, student loans, timeshares, medical expenses, and more cut down 60, 80, even 100%. And you'll save thousands of dollars in interest payments.
Finally, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And a good night's sleep.
Now get free of debt in a year or less with Accelerated Debt Settlement. Just call 1-888-959-4495 and we'll get to work for you. That's 1-888-959-4495. 1-888-959-4495.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Jewels on Hampton and St. Louis Hills is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches on site. Jewels on Hampton is a premier jeweler featuring Alvanza's jewel art designs with an exquisite selection of diamonds, semi-precious stone jewelry, and vintage watches. Their expert design team can restyle your jewelry to today's contemporary style. They also do jewelry and watch repair. Need extra cash? Jewels on Hampton is paying some of the highest prices on gold, silver, diamonds, semi-precious colored stones, coins, flatware, and fine watches. Bring in your collectibles and clocks and sports memorabilia and figurines too. Jewels on Hampton, 4506 Hampton, just 3 blocks south of Chippewa, and jewelsonhampton.com. Call them at 314-752-5000, 314-752-5000, and jewelsonhampton.com. Jewels on Hampton.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place. Bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Barry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Staples Print Big Sale means the more you print, the more you save. Get $20 off your print purchase of 100 or more, 50 off your print purchase of 200 or more, and 100 off your print purchase of 300 or more. Ends 2/10/24. See staples.com/print for details. Print more, save more at Staples.
The greatest radio talk show host ever.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors on KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Oh my God. Are you freaking kidding me? No way.
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy on the show?
Nate Gatter joining us here, and we don't have a whole lot of time, but I did not know this was going on. So, Nate, did you see that Burger King, and apparently this has been a thing for months now, they are requiring their people who work there that when you come through and you get your food, they have to give you one of those crowns, like the king crown.
Whether you want it or not.
And they have to say, "You rule." I remember getting the Burger King crown when I was a kid.
Is that like supposed to be their answer to my pleasure, like the Chick-fil-A thing? That's the idea?
Yes. They are so overly nice at Chick-fil-A. Well, now when you go to Burger King, you rule. Apparently, this is a new thing I just found out about. Hey, got a good story that we're going to talk about when we come back regarding Southwest Airlines. That's next on KMOX.
Ring in the new year with the ultimate timeless gift, a diamond from Diamonds Direct. Whether you're ready to pop the question or celebrating a lifetime of love in 2024, Diamonds Direct can make this New Year's one to remember forever. Diamonds Direct is the area's destination for exquisite diamonds in all shapes and sizes, and our nationwide price guarantee ensures you'll get the best value, period. To showcase that spectacular diamond, we have literally thousands of designer settings from all the top names like Tacori, Verragio, Simon G, A. Jaffe, and many more. And our experts will guide you every step of the way with the education you want and the respect you deserve. Engagement rings, wedding bands, eternity bands, fashion rings. At Diamonds Direct, we specialize in the ultimate symbol of love, and we welcome the opportunity to celebrate with you. So start the new year with some new excitement, new hope, and some new bling. Diamonds Direct. At Olive and 270, official partner of the St. Louis Blues and proud to call the Gateway City home. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Bygov.com.
The 1878 to 1921 Morgan Silver Dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan Silver Dollar coin was struck for circulation, and now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right, you can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan Silver Dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure collector-grade U.S. Morgan silver dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American Collector's Pack valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan silver dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-973-9819. That's 1-800-973-9819.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get the power of doing it right. Detailed project proposals, excellent customer service, and trusted professionals who get the job done on time and on budget. The power of experience. We're kings of the scaffolding and pros with the stucco. We've been there, done that. Get your project started at CertaPro.com and get the power of pro.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
Are you a business owner in need of financing? Then you need Swish Funding, the better way to get the funding you need. Our simple application process takes just minutes, with funding as soon as one business day. At Swish Funding, we focus on your business cash flow, not your personal credit score. And we're ready to help with funding from $5,000 to $5 million. If you've been in business for 1 year and have monthly revenue of at least $25,000, you could get the affordable funding you need with no collateral at swishradio.com. That's SWISH radio.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news, KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we have clouds, 47 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News, and we are keeping an eye on the weather for you right now. Looking at the radar, it looks like we do have some spotty snow coming in east of Jefferson City through Herman. But as you get to Washington, Union, St. Clair, that is all rain, especially some heavier rain up through Festus. And we've got a little bit of rain to the east as well. It looks like some pretty serious storms as you get over toward Flora and Centralia, Illinois. So stay with KMOX for the latest. Pro-Palestinian protesters lined the marble staircase at St. Louis City Hall this morning, then packed a hearing room. They're asking the Board of Aldermen to approve a resolution calling for a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Israel says that South Africa is distorting the facts about its war in Gaza in day 2 of South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the World Court. South Africa has asked judges to order Israel to immediately cease its military campaign. Lauren Comato reports the fact that Israel is responding at The Hague shows that they take the allegations seriously.
The court will issue its ruling within the next few weeks, which is legally binding. But the problem is it's not enforceable. Russia didn't listen to the court's order, and the U.S. also hasn't listened when it was accused of mining Nicaragua's harbors back in the 80s. It also didn't show up for court. So it's very hard to enforce, but at the same time, in terms of the court of public opinion, adding genocide into the mix likely will have an influence on the way people talk about and view the conflict.
Donald Trump's got a big lead in the polls heading into Monday's Iowa caucuses. CBS's Natalie Brand is in Des Moines, where she's been speaking with voters.
Trump, appearing in court twice this week, sent others to Iowa to campaign for him.
He surrounded himself with some pretty good folks, and they made good decisions, and most things were better. Give him another shot.
But Mike Hannum, who voted for Trump in 2016 and 2020, says he's looking for someone new.
Why don't you like him this year?
again, it's that negativity. The divisive politics, I think, is a very big problem.
Hannon plans to caucus Monday. Others told us they're not so sure, with temperatures forecast in the negative double digits, the coldest Iowa caucus night ever.
The weather has already prompted Republican presidential hopeful Nikki Haley to cancel some in-person events and turn them into telephone town halls. Well, how does the caucus process in Iowa actually work? Political consultant Michael Kelly tells KMOX caucus goers choose the candidate by physically moving to a different part of a room.
Everybody who's with Ron DeSantis, go to this corner. Everybody who's with Donald Trump, go to that corner. Everybody who's with Vivek Ramaswamy and so on. And the room divides up.
Kelly says if a candidate doesn't have enough support to be viable, those caucusers are then campaigned for by the remaining candidates to join their groups. The process can last 2 to 3 hours. The Adopt a Highway program in Missouri has been suspended, and if it returns, one lawmaker wants to prevent a controversy from happening again.
For 4 months, an Adopt a Highway sign on I-44 in Kirkwood read, "In loving memory of Kevin Rockhead Johnson." He was the man executed a year ago for the 2005 shooting death of Kirkwood Police Sergeant William McEntee. There were no rules in place preventing the request from Johnson's family, but Wildwood State Representative Justin Sparks is sponsoring a bill making it illegal for MoDOT to post signage named for any person who kills or attempts to kill a member of law enforcement. In 2001, MoDOT rejected an application from the Ku Klux Klan, which sued over free speech rights and won. Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
From the KMOX Business Desk, the International Olympic Committee has signed the first beer brand in the 40-year history of a sponsorship program that earns billions of dollars for the organization and international sports. The deal announced Friday by the IOC and Budweiser maker Anheuser-Busch InBev for the next 3 summer and winter games. The Paris Olympics open on July 26th. The deal also includes the 2026 Winter Games in Northern Italy, then the Los Angeles Olympics in 2028. The IOC and AB InBev say Corona Zero, the zero alcohol version of Corona, will be global beer sponsor of the Olympic Games. The Dow from Stifel this hour down 216 points at 37,494. The S&P 500 down 8 at 4,771. Checking that forecast for today, windy, colder this afternoon. Rain's going to change to snow before ending in the evening, and temperatures are going to fall into the upper 20s by evening. Overnight, we'll have a low around 13, and AccuWeather real feel temperatures are going to fall below 0. For tomorrow, variably cloudy, windy, and cold, a high of 19, with real feels remaining near 0. And then Sunday, cloudy, bitterly cold, a little snow in the afternoon, but not much relief. A high only around 9 degrees. Real feels again below 0. Right now, we have 49 degrees in Florissant, 47 in St. Peters, and cloudy skies, 47 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by Summer at SLU. Find your kids' best summer yet at St. Louis University.
It's hour 2 of the Chris and Amy Show without Amy. She is, I don't know, vacation or something. She's always gone. This lady is always gone, but she's gone, and we're thinking about her in spirit. Chris Ranji, and I've got Nate Gatter joining me for the next couple of hours. And of course, we want to hear from you as always. 314-436-7900 and voicemails at 314-944-1120. So you may have seen, Nate, over the last, I don't know, I guess the last several days, there was about a 48-hour period where Elon Musk, who is the owner of Twitter, and Mark Cuban, who is the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. Everybody knows who Cuban is. Everybody knows who both of these fellows are.
Technically not the owner of the Dallas Mavericks
That's
anymore.
right. He got out. But he is everybody knows these two guys. They got at it on Twitter in a DEI debate, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And there has been, over the last several years, a real culture war that has erupted. And a lot of it has come from the right, who resent the idea of diversity, equity, inclusion. That they believe, and rightfully so, that people should get jobs based on merit. And I totally agree with that. But their objection to DEI generally is that what they believe is happening is that not only are people who are women or are minorities getting the opportunity to be seen for jobs around the country, but they're getting preferential treatment when they're not qualified. That is what the argument is. I do not believe that is what's happening at all. I think that there are just some people who feel like this is a wedge issue and they can use it and it's beneficial to them. I don't think that deep down they really believe DEI is a problem in this country. Southwest Airlines, a couple of days ago, sent out this tweet. It was a photo of 5 women, and all of them were part of the flight crew. I said 5, it's actually 6. And the tweet is this: all female flight crew, go off, queens. So it's just to me, I look at that and I think it's a harmless, it's kind of cringy. Go off, queens is cringy, whatever.
Yeah, I think we're going to need to clip you saying that just for any future use.
The point is there are 2 pilots, both women, and 4 flight attendants, also women. And all they were doing is saying, hey, look, we've got an all-female flight crew. Doesn't really happen that often, though I think I'm sure it has happened many times before, not only with them, with other airlines as well. And you pointed out during the break that it has happened with them in the past. Back in 2017, they had an all-female flight crew.
I assume this is not. It's probably somewhat unusual statistically that it works out this way, but I would assume it's not like they're tweeting every single time it's ever happened. And this tweet just sort of they just did it.
It's
but yeah,
just-
they
it's a
did
social
tweet saying
media
it was
post.
the first time ever when they had an all-female flight crew back in October of 2017, and that flight actually departed from St. Louis. It went from St. Louis to San Francisco.
So I never know how to pronounce this lady's name, but it's the Libs of TikTok weirdo, Kaya or Chaya, whatever, Reichik. She started the Twitter account or the TikTok account, Libs of TikTok. And it's just, the whole point is to mock people who are liberal or whatever. So she retweeted this Southwest Airlines tweet and said, they are openly mocking us. They know what they're doing. And so I saw that tweet. Southwest Airlines has since deleted it, probably because they got a ton of backlash from far right-wing weirdos like this lady.
And it did sound kind of stupid, regardless of how you feel, I think, about DEI. It did sound kind of stupid.
The tweet?
Yeah, I think part of the reason that these things can come off wrong is that DEI is treated as a very serious thing and something that's important for society. And I think there's a conversation worth having there. And it probably some form of DEI in many industries is worthwhile and important. And to then, first of all, take that to corporate Twitter accounts. Anytime something is being used by a corporation's Twitter account, it's already going to feel a little bit weird.
Well, yeah, corporate.
I don't think it's
for the most
appropriate
part,
for it to be part of part of a marketing scheme that you're using. And on top of that, to then say something like "go off, queens" in a context where you're trying to market something, sort of, I don't know. I think it
You think it's
minimizes
cringy.
it.
You think
it
it's
is cringy,
okay,
but more than
that's
that, I think
different.
it trivializes.
That is different, and that's fine. But that is different than what the Libs of
This
TikTok.
isn't even getting into that.
The Libs of TikTok lady is upset because they have an all-female flight crew.
I was
and
just
they're-
speculating on part of the reason they might have deleted the tweet, and part of the reason they might
Well, I
not be
think it's
getting
because
furious.
of the backlash.
Right, but they might not. The backlash might not be getting. They might not be getting a whole lot of defense even from the left. If the idea is that this is the right wing doesn't like DEI and the left does, I don't think that's the kind of tweet even left-leaning people who are supporting DEI are going to really go to bat.
My point
for
is this:
because it's
why
silly.
should I be mad about it? Why should I be mad that Southwest Airlines had an all-female flight crew and the social media team decided one day to highlight it? Big deal. Big freaking deal.
I don't think
Who
it's a
cares?
big deal.
Who cares? Move on.
uh,
It's a cringy tweet. Move on to the next thing. This is not it, but what is happening, or what did happen in this case, is it was made to be a great societal problem. And oh my God, look what Southwest Airlines is doing. They are probably hiring female pilots who aren't really all that good, but they're doing it because they want women to be pilots. So they're not qualified, but they're getting the jobs anyway. That is ridiculous. That is not what is happening.
I think there are a couple of things. First of all, you'll see people say, what are the odds statistically that they assembled a crew of 6 people who are the most qualified possible people, and they all turned out to be women. And I think that's sort of a silly argument, because how many crews have been all men, and we've never wondered if a 6-man crew was the most qualified possible. Especially because, and I don't want to be, rude. I think it's really about the two pilots that we're talking about. I mean,
it's all
and not
about the
to say that
pilots,
being
yeah.
a flight attendant
That's what
doesn't
it's
have its
about.
challenges.
Yes.
But I think the level of qualification to be a pilot entrusted with hundreds of lives is totally different than the level of qualification necessary to be a flight attendant. So we're really talking about the two pilots. And it doesn't bother me. The only way I can think where it bothers me is if the point is this is becoming something that companies use for marketing, and we're getting to the point where we associate any diversity with being good, period. And we're creating, at that point, such a strong incentive for companies that we're going beyond just make sure that you're giving fair consideration to women and fair consideration to minorities, which I think is the underlying purpose of DEI initiatives. The idea being that if you end up with very few women relative to, first of all, the number of women in the population, second of all, the number of women who have cleared whatever the minimum is to be a possibly licensed as a commercial pilot, something is going wrong in your process. So this is meant to be a corrective. That if you push past that to the idea that just women or minority equals good, that you might be throwing off some of what we should be doing as far as like just trying to target.
And I'm not going to say
qualified
that
people. So I can understand that, but I think
I'm
the
not
right
gonna say
just
that,
takes this way
I'm not
going
to say that never, ever, ever happens, which I'm sure in some hiring situations it does happen. But you know
not
what?
likely in this
that's
circumstance.
not likely here. They're pilots. They have to go through training. They're good. We know.
Yeah, I also don't know. Do you know, like,
hold on
if
a second.
different
This is
airlines
not-
have different
hold on.
criteria?
No, I think you have to have. I think it's more FAA
Right, that's what I
regulation
would
than
assume.
anything. The idea that this never happens ever, of course it does. I'm sure it does. I'm sure that one hiring manager in one particular industry at one particular place may favor somebody who was a minority or a woman and not as qualified as a man in a particular case. But that also happens with nepotism. It also happens with people you know. I got a friend who I'm going to hire for this gig, even though I have talked to somebody else for the same job who is more qualified, but it's my buddy, or it's my buddy's buddy,
And the
or
idea
it's
is most
it's
people
my
have-
uncle's son, or not my uncle's son, but like my uncle's friend, or whatever
Right.
it is. That stuff happens all the time, and that's not good. But I think the outrage over this particular thing is not. It's not about the female itself, or it's not about that a person deemed to be unqualified or is not as qualified as maybe other candidates is getting a job. They're very specific to DEI. And I think it's because they know it's a wedge issue and they know they can use it politically, and it is beneficial to them financially to do so. That's what it's about, because people like this Libs of TikTok lady have monetized this.
Right.
That's what it's about.
Because if they're really concerned about airline safety, I think it's very clear over the last few years, and there have actually been a bunch of good New York Times articles sort of diving into this pattern, but it's very clear over the last few years, if there's a safety issue in commercial airline travel right now, which I think there probably is compared to what our standards were 10 years ago, it has nothing to do with pilots.
because
It
they
has to
hired
do
women.
with air traffic
It could be-
controls being enormously understaffed.
That's what
and
it
as a
is.
result, there have been a lot of miscommunications, and we
Yes.
are very fortunate that we haven't had a serious commercial airline accident in this country in the last 5 years.
Let's
and
talk
it's not
about
because of women pilots.
let's talk about Southwest Airlines first. Southwest Airlines has an impeccable safety record. They had the issue over the summer where they had a bunch of cancellations, but that was like a software scheduling issue.
Yeah, they don't
That
have an
wasn't-
impeccable
that was
business
not a-
record, but they do have an impeccable safety record.
Well, they had done historically well up until, what happened over the summer, and that was more of a scheduling, software problem, which is still a problem. But in terms of safety, in terms of the pilots who work there, in terms of, getting people to their destination, they have a terrific record there. So I don't think this is anything more than just a handful of people trying to stir the crap because they know it is for them beneficial. The Libs of TikTok lady, this is her livelihood. This is what she does. She tries to make people angry about stuff that is not worth getting angry over. Text message says, people overthink things. It's novel. Why not post it? Nothing more.
That's what
the
I
way
was just going to
see it.
say. I doubt it is
Just a
that novel,
post.
right? I think it's just a post because there must be plenty of flights every day in this country that have 2 women pilots, right? I mean,
I'm sure of it.
I'm sure women
of it.
are distinctly a minority among commercial pilots overall. I'd be interested. I could try to Google what that number is and see if we can find anything reliable. But even if women are 20% of commercial airline pilots, which it feels like they got to be at least 10. So let's say 10%, even if they're 10% of commercial airline pilots, that out of hundreds of flights every day, they're going to have to be at least a few that have 2 women pilots. So some of these people who are complaining have probably flown on a plane that had 2 women pilots, and they just didn't know because there was no post and they didn't see in the cockpit. They didn't think about it.
And when
I
you talk
wouldn't think about it.
When you talk about the thousands of employees that exist in a given company like Southwest, at some point it will probably happen that all 6 of them are women. What's the big deal? We can get upset about real things that are happening in the country or that are happening to people.
I know all those people have flown on planes that had 4 women flight attendants and no men. I've done that many times, and they didn't say anything about that.
Historically, it used to be all women who were flight attendants.
I just looked this up, by the way. The Center for Aviation says only 4 to 6% of airline pilots globally are women. In the U.S., though, it is growing rapidly. It's around 5% last year and growing quickly.
My point is, do not be fooled by these people who try to make you outraged over stuff that is really not outrageous. But guess what? It works. And I know it works because they continue to do it and they continue to make money off of you. Nate Gatter, Chris Ranji, this is KMOX.
For everything online, it's Odyssey.com. Download the Odyssey app and listen to The Dave Glover Show and all the news, talk, sports, and podcasts that move you. Odyssey, that's AUDACY.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick Seminars and lose the weight or stop smoking guaranteed early bird special, only $49.99. Hypnosis designed to destroy unwanted cravings, late day eating binges, boredom eating, stress eating. That's right. Seminars Tuesday, January 30th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights, and Wednesday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Our goal at NeoVitan is to make supporting your nutrition as easy as possible. That's why we created the NeoVitan monthly subscription. Just go to neovitan.com, choose your multivitamin, sign up, and we will do the rest. You'll receive your NeoVitan multivitamin every month with no long-term obligation. You can pause or cancel at any time, and shipping is free. Each NeoVitan multivitamin includes our physician-formulated proprietary blend for nutritional support you won't find anywhere else. Start supporting your nutrition the easy way with NeoVitan multivitamins. Sign up for a NeoVitan subscription today at neovitan.com.
Billy Joel and Sting together for the first time in St. Louis. Friday, September 27th. One special evening at Busch Stadium.
Every breath you take.
Live in St. Louis. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Friday, September 27th. Don't miss Billy Joel and Sting.
Hey, Cardinal Cowboy here. 67 years ago, Renner Garage Door opened its first location. Fast forward to today, Renner is proud to serve the entire St. Louis metro area, St. Charles, South County, and Eastern Illinois. When you buy a Renner Garage Door, you know you're getting the best sales and service. Renner only uses premium components for their wide selection of garage doors and LiftMaster openers. Visit RennerDoorSTL.com or give them a call. Renner welcomes you to become part of the family. Renner forward and back. RENNER. Giddy up!
It's Tom Ackerman. Need to get my eyes checked once a year from Ophthalmology Associates. It's an annual eye health examination that I absolutely need if I want to see clearly, and I want to be able to tell you what I see in everything that I do on the radio and in life. The doctors of Ophthalmology Associates will help me with that. 314-966-5000 is the number to call for an appointment. 314-966-5000, Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andrew Royer, and Samuel Berry. He is a cornea surgeon. He has the knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field, just like the other doctors. The doctors, they call them that because they have over 250 doctors as patients. That is more than any other practice. Ophthalmology Associates, 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates, yourEyeDoc.com.
At Consumer Cellular, you get the same exact coverage as the largest carriers, but for up to half the cost. Same thing, up to half the cost. Up to half the cost for the same thing. 50% the money for 100% the same thing. I hope I'm making myself clear. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Half the cost savings based on cost of consumer cellular single-line 5 GB data plan with unlimited talk and text compared to lowest cost single-line postpaid unlimited talk, text, and data plan offered by T-Mobile and Verizon May 2023.
If you want jazz music, go to New Orleans. Bagels, New York. And for psychics, think California Psychics. You want the best, you go to the best. At California Psychics, home of free spirits and open minds, we know better than anyone what makes a good psychic. That's why we guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Live and local, this is St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
Go off, Queens. Gee. Southwest Airlines making people mad. I love those Queens. Cut that one up, you jerks. Hey, so Go text, off, Queens. A text message here says, and you can text us 314-436-7900. I work for a major nationwide company. It is a stated goal to get to 40% minority leadership within 3 years. Doesn't matter if I'm more qualified or better at my job. As a white guy, I'm very unlikely to take the next step of my career with this company because I don't fit their numbers. I'm not going to name the company because overall I love working here and it's a great company to work for, but why try? Okay, so and my answer to that is I doubt that it's not on merit. It could be a deciding factor if you have two people who are equally qualified that they say, hey, we're going to take somebody who looks a little bit different than what we typically hire. But I hear 40% and then I see, well, that means 60% is not minority. That means most people who would be in management or in leadership are still not minority. So you have a better chance than minorities of getting a job, whether that's women or people who are black or Asian or whatever it is. And I'm not saying that it never, ever, ever happens in a hiring situation where somebody who is less qualified but looks the part gets the job over somebody who is more qualified. I'm not saying that never happens.
Well, and some of it
But
I think has to do
is-
with how companies are having to play catch up now because they're wanting to get to a number that they're not at. So we don't know where his company is or her company is right now. But if we imagine a scenario where a company was at 20% minority leadership and wanted to get to 40% within 3 years, you can imagine that it's not as simple as, well, 60% is still for the white guys, right? That for that 3 year period of time, there probably the significant majority of promotions, if you will, or new leadership hires or whatever would have to be minorities if you wanted to double your minority leadership presence in just 3 years without firing a bunch of people. Once you get there, then it's not. But for people who are at that stage, I can see why it would feel like, well, for the next few years, my chances are very low because if they want to double their number or triple their number of minority leaders in the next 3 years, they're not going to be able to hire many non-minority leaders and get to their goal.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they still have a better opportunity than the minorities of being in that position. They still
In the
have
first place, you
they
mean?
they still have a better opportunity. And I don't buy, and I appreciate this person's thoughts, but I don't buy that it is all because of that. That maybe if somebody does get hired in front of you, even if they don't look like you, it doesn't mean they're not better than you.
Right.
Maybe
No, that is
they are
definitely
better than
true.
you.
That is definitely true.
Maybe they do have the credentials more than you have. And again, I'm not saying every single case, but for the most part, people are hired based on merit around the country. And if you're upset about that, then you should be upset about nepotism, which has been going on forever. You should be upset about people being hired in front of you because they're friends of somebody or they're the son of a friend of a guy who owns the place. That's the kind of stuff that's been going on and is far more widespread historically and even currently than a diversity hire.
To
And
be
let's-
fair, I
let's-
think a lot
let's-
of people do, at least in a broad sense. Maybe they make exceptions when it's somebody they know or they're doing it. But in a broad sense, I think most people would, if you said, do you think nepotism is bad or good, would say bad. And in fact, many states even have laws about potentially, barring nepotism hires in public roles or at the very least requiring special processes in order to make a nepotism hire.
But it does.
So I
It
think
does happen. It still does
there are
happen
differences in
around the
attitudes,
country.
in the sense that I don't think many companies are putting in place policies that say let's try to do nepotism hires the way they're saying let's try to do diversity and equity.
Hold on a second. What they are saying is we don't have this group represented, so let's find qualified people who are different than what we typically do because they're not usually getting the look. And I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Hey, it's a Cardinals winter warm-up weekend, and Mike Claiborne is with us. He's on the Caravan now. He joins us after this on KMOX.
This week on The Rachel Zimmerman Show, I talked to St. Louis Magazine dining editor George Mahey.
You see a lot of folks come through there, obviously. The most famous one is Brad Pitt. Might have heard of him. He was Brad the busboy.
He worked for you.
He worked for me.
If you miss any part of the conversation, make sure you download the podcast. It's on the Odyssey app or anywhere else you get your podcasts. Just search for The Rachel Zimmerman Show.
You couldn't pick a worse time to sell your home. Sure, your home is worth a small fortune right now, but are you really going to swap your 2 or 3% current interest rate and pay 7 or 8% interest on a new house? No way. You don't have to with the Get Paid and Stay program from Truehold. This is ingenious. With the Get Paid and Stay program, Truehold will buy your home now at its best current value. You bank the cash and stay in your home until interest rates come back down, or as long as you like. It's your call. Plus, you won't have to pay property taxes, insurance, or upkeep anymore. Truehold pays those expenses. Learn more about Truehold's Get Paid and Stay program. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without having to move. That's 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
At 11:30, we have cloudy skies, 48 degrees downtown at the Arch, and we've got a lot of rain throughout the area that may be causing some of the problems we've got on the roadways. Sounds like we've got a pretty serious accident. Southbound 270, it is shut down at Page right now. There's a pretty big jam. It looks like it's jammed back for several miles again. 2 separate accidents, southbound 270 at Page. In the news, Yemen's Houthi rebels vowing fierce retaliation for American and British strikes against them, further raising the prospect of a wider conflict in the region. The bombardment was launched in response to a recent campaign of drone and missile attacks on commercial ships in the Red Sea. The Houthis said Friday that the strikes killed at least 5 people and wounded 6. The St. Louis Board of Aldermen passed a resolution this morning calling on President Biden to work toward a ceasefire in the Israel-Hamas war. Dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters attended the meeting, including Naveen Aish, who called it a step in the right direction.
You know, we're coming close to 100 days now that the war has been going on. You're talking about more than 30,000 Palestinians that have been brutally murdered.
The resolution passed unanimously. Federal prosecutors will seek the death penalty against a white supremacist who killed 10 black people at a Buffalo supermarket. Peyton Gendron is already serving a sentence of life in prison with no chance of parole after he pleaded guilty to state charges of murder and hate-motivated domestic terrorism in the 2022 attack. New York does not have capital punishment, but the Justice Department had the option of seeking the death penalty in a separate federal hate crimes case. Again, southbound 270 closed down due to a crash at Page Avenue. You'll have to use an alternate route there. Looking at the forecast for today, Windy, colder as rain changes to snow this afternoon before ending this evening. Temperatures are going to fall into the upper 20s by evening, and then we'll have an overnight low around 13 with AccuWeather real field temperatures falling below zero. Right now, it looks like the snow is a little bit east of Herman. Not much snow coming in, much more rain as we head through Washington on into St. Louis and into the Metro East as well. Currently 49 degrees in Florissant, 47 in St. Peters, and cloudy skies, 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
Brought to you by Cars for Kids Real Estate.
Maximize your tax savings in 2024 and donate your property to Cars for Kids. We accept all kinds of real estate, land, homes, and commercial properties. Act fast to secure your tax deduction for the full appraised value of your property at carsforkidsrealestate.org. That's cars with a K.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Have questions after being injured in an accident? We'll match you with the Onder Law team that's right for you and your case.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
Broadcasting from the Under Law Injury Lawyers. GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here for UniversalWindowsDirect.com. So if, like me, you get frustrated hearing ads that really don't tell you anything, how the product is better or even different. So Universal Windows Direct is better and different in this way. Our product was developed by NASA. It's a technology called Super Spacer. It keeps the edges of the glass warmer. It performs better. It lasts longer. You get a lifetime warranty, a true lifetime warranty. If you sell your house, the person you sell it to gets a 30-year warranty. That's Universal Windows Direct, different and better.
Bygovernment.com. The 1878 to 1921 Morgan Silver Dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan Silver Dollar coin was struck for circulation. And now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right. You can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan Silver Dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks guaranteed. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure collector grade U.S. Morgan Silver dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American collector's pack valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan Silver dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-973-9819. That's 1-800-973-9819.
Join KMOX Sports at the Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up happening this weekend at Ballpark Village. We're live 10 till 2 Saturday and Sunday and 10 till 1 on Monday at Cardinals Nation Restaurant. The Winter Warm-Up. You don't want to miss it. KMOX is Cardinals Radio.
Getting to the middle of January, which means we are, just a little over a month away from pitchers and catchers reporting. Can't believe it. Especially with the weather the way it is. It's always difficult to envision baseball being around the corner, but it is around the corner for us here on the home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Nate Gatter is in for Amy Markscores. I'm Chris Ranji, and it is time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line today. We are joined by part of the broadcast team, along with John Rooney and Rick Horton and others. It is Mike Claiborne who visits with us from the Cardinals Caravan. Where are you, Mike?
Springfield, Missouri.
What's going on in Springfield, Missouri? How's the weather down there?
It's 20 degrees. Wind chill factor brings it down to 5.
Is it really 20?
21 degrees.
Oh, my gosh. It's like,
no joke.
Double that here.
I know. When we left this morning, it was 47 degrees. We got here, it was 21.
Oh, man. I'm telling you, this winter weather is basically missing us. It is just pounding everybody else. I mean, we're going to get it, Sunday, Monday. It'll be cold, but all that other stuff we're missing.
Yeah, you count your blessings. Trust me. It is no joke here.
I was going to say, Claves does not sound too good.
Well, you know what? This time next week, I'll be in sunny Jupiter, Florida. So if I can get through the day, I'll be all right.
So speaking of the winter weather, that leads me to NFL playoffs, in particular, the Kansas City Chiefs. They will have a temperature of -2 at kickoff tomorrow against the Dolphins. Wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour. The wind chill is supposed to have the temperature at about -35 at kickoff tomorrow. How awful is that, Claibs?
Pretty bad. But here's the question. Do you practice outdoors to get yourself used to it, or do you try and stay as warm as you can during the course of the week?
I don't know the answer. What do you think?
I don't know. I would probably stay indoors.
Yeah, you probably can get more done, but the bottom line is, the elements are going to have a play. It's going to have a say-so. And so you might as well go out there. But if you're the Dolphins, this is like they might as well be on Jupiter or Mars or some other planet, because none of those guys are going to be used to what they're going to deal with tomorrow.
Yeah, they'll be all right.
Yeah, Ranji was before the show dismissing the claim that the Dolphins have the kind of offense that doesn't travel well because maybe because they're from Miami, maybe because they throw the ball so much, maybe because they got some guys who are maybe a little injury prone to begin with. Do you buy that, Claibs, or you think no such thing?
I think that all those things go into play. You just got to tough it out. I mean, everybody's hurt this time of the year, so that's not a big issue. Maybe you change up a few things offensively. Maybe you run the ball a little bit more. But I just think at this time of the year, you shorten the playbook and you just go out and just play. You go with the things you can get away with, and then you have a wrinkle or two somewhere along the way. But the key is, like in any postseason, you can't turn the ball over.
Yep.
Got to be careful.
Yeah, and I don't really believe that players who play in colder weather environments in the NFL are more equipped to handle it when it gets cold, because all these guys are from different places.
How many times did Brett Favre beat
some
you,
are from-
Raj?
some
How
are
many
from
times did Brett Favre beat you?
Brett Favre's from like Georgia or
He's from Mississippi, but
Yeah.
still, some guys
So
are
he's from
better
a hot-
equipped, clearly.
Well, what I'm saying is, it's not like just because you're from a particular area or you play in a particular area doesn't mean you're better at playing in cold weather.
But you don't think it would shock the system a little bit more if you'd been living in Miami for years? Did
No,
then all
because
of a
you don't
sudden
live
go to
there-
0 degrees?
You don't live there all year,
I
But
guess.
see, here's
and
the
you
other
play, and
thing
you
you
play
gotta
half
take
your
into it.
season in other places.
And you have to take this into account. How often do you deal with this? Maybe twice a season if you're
Right.
playing in cold weather environment. Most of the time, it's you're playing in something that we're all accustomed to. So I think it's more mind over matter than anything else. I think that if you have the right mindset, you'll be fine.
Mike, you mentioned taking care of the football and how important that is, regardless of the weather, when it gets to this time of year, and the margins for error, the differentials between the teams just so small in many cases. How much of a concern do you think that is for the Chiefs? Again, regardless of the weather, just the fact that Patrick Mahomes has
can't
been his
catch it.
usual risk-taking self, maybe even a little bit more, and on top of that, he doesn't have receivers to bail him out very often.
No, he doesn't. They may go to the run game a little bit more also, because you think about Miami, both their defensive ends are out. So you might want to run the ball a little bit more. The other thing is, when you look at what's going on with the team as a whole, they don't have enough guys who can catch it. And so they're going to have to be very creative. And I'm wondering, is anybody thinking about the fact that Eric Bieniemy's absence has had a lot to do with the fact that this team has been inconsistent offensively?
Wait, are you making some sort of charge against Matt Nagy?
Well, you know what? If the shoe fits, wear it.
Bro, thank you.
Just
Try
saying.
telling you. Try
Just
telling
saying.
you, people. Matt Nagy. Anyway, hey, Chiefs game tomorrow here on KMOX. You can listen to it. Both playoff games tomorrow you can listen to right here on KMOX. So as we started off, you are in Springfield with the Cardinals Caravan. Winter warm-up happens this weekend, starting tomorrow at Busch Stadium and at Ballpark Village. Tom Ackerman and I are going to be there on Monday from 10 to 1. So with this happening, we also got yesterday, Claibs, word of a bunch of arbitration-eligible players signing. So that kind of helps set the payroll a little bit here, with the possibility of maybe something happening over the next few weeks. Do you think we will see an additional move before spring training starts?
You probably will. I don't know how significant, how big it's going to be, because, and basically those contracts were done, they're really not budget busters, more or less. I mean, those are just contracts that they were going to have to do anyway. But this team isn't finished yet. I don't think. They'll go into spring training and get a look at some people, and if they need to go out and get somebody, they will. There's a lot of good players that are still without jobs right now, so I think we just have to stand by and see what happens.
I know that there have been some rumors that maybe the Cardinals have interest in Dylan Cease, the starter from the White Sox, who has drawn interest from other teams. And I know the Cardinals have already done a lot of rotation work during the offseason. Do you think they'd go big like that?
No, I think they need to show up the bullpen at this point. That's the most important thing. They've got to tighten that bullpen up, because you can go out and get Dylan Cease or Matt Dillon or anybody else. It doesn't make a difference if your bullpen is not going to be solid. And last year we saw firsthand that it wasn't, and they got to shore it up.
Mike, I saw the list of guys who are going to arbitration hearings because they haven't been able to agree. Just one Cardinal on the list, Tommy Edman. But to your point about how some of these deals aren't budget busters, the gap between Tommy Edman and the Cardinals, it's far from the smallest on the 23-player list that was initially released. I think it's down to 22 now because Devin Williams and the Brewers found a settlement. But it's only a $450,000 gap. The Cardinals filed at $6.5 million and Tommy Edman at $6.95 million. Why do you think teams, especially bearing in mind, say, how ugly it got between the Brewers and Corbin Burns last offseason, why do you think teams continue to go to these arbitration hearings that can be contentious and, can end up with players' feelings getting hurt over what is, in the grand scheme of things, really small amounts of money?
Well, in most cases, they get it resolved. I mean, the Cardinals have had I think they've lost one arbitration hearing in like 20 years. And most of the time they get it right. But you're right. Guys can take it personal. I remember there was a guy the Cardinals were in arbitration with many years ago, and he thought all was good until he got in the room and heard what they said about him. He never spoke to that general manager again.
Yeah.
It's a roll of the dice, but most of the time you end up splitting the difference.
Yeah.
As far as the gap. And I'm sure that Cardinals and Tommy Edmonds people will continue to talk and they'll get it figured out.
It's always, the process has always been fascinating to me, that the player has to be there and listen to it. Or it used to be. Is it different now, Claves?
Yeah, you have to be there.
You still do have to be there. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they can't just let the representation be there and do it.
Maybe Major League Baseball likes the T, Ranj.
And doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. So what's next, Claves?
I'm about to walk in here and do this fan fest with the folks here in Springfield. And then we go on to, I think, we're going to be here through the evening because they got a big basketball tournament we're going to go and check out later. And then tomorrow we're in Rolla and Joplin, and back home on Saturday night, back at the ballpark. I'll be over at the Ballpark Village on Sunday morning. So we'll have some fun over there before we head south.
Tell Missouri State I said hello.
I'll pass it on to them. You guys have a good one.
Mike Claiborne with us here on the Quiver River Electric guest line. It is winter warm-up weekend. It gets started tomorrow. As I mentioned, Tom Ackerman and I on Monday from 10 until 1 will be at Ballpark Village. A list of Cardinals dignitaries and players coming through. So that'll be a really good time. We have, for the final time this week, a pair of tickets to give away to see Billy Joel and Sting. September 27th at Busch Stadium. Before the show is over today, we will give those ducats away to a lucky listener, and we'll tell you when. You got to be listening for your chance to win on KMOX.
This is Tom Ackerman. At the end of last Cardinals season, manager Oliver Marmol wanted to get together with fans, make himself available to answer all of their questions. And it is happening Thursday, January 18th at Tapawingo National Golf Club. For $75, a beef tenderloin dinner, 2 complimentary cocktails, and an intimate conversation with Ollie Marmol. Purchase your tickets today. They are online and they will go fast. KMOX.com/events.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral in everything that we do. It keeps us involved and embraced in life. Not hearing someone is never normal. Ringing in the ears is never normal. And when people have a hearing loss, oftentimes they complain that they can hear, but they cannot understand people. And avoiding getting a hearing aid can have long-term effects on the speech reception area of the brain. So what that means is if you test and treat the hearing loss early with a hearing aid, we can prevent a decline in the speech understanding that can happen if the hearing loss goes untreated.
The words of Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. 3 locations in St. Louis, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
It's everything Cardinals baseball this weekend as the Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up slides into Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village. Meet former and new Cardinal players, hear from team management, buy special souvenirs, and take in Q&A sessions. KMOX Sports will be live at Cardinals Nation Restaurant Saturday and Sunday 10 till 2 and Monday 10 till 1. The Cardinals Care Winter Warm-Up happening this weekend. For more info, click KMOX.com/events.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This year, resolve to use less gas. You can carpool to work a few days a week and walk any distance under a mile. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Okay, so you filed your taxes this year, but you know you have past IRS issues. And now the IRS letters are coming. Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. Don't ignore those IRS letters. They're important and give you rights and deadlines to defend yourself. Waiting could cause you to lose those rights. Call the Lance Story Law Firm now and let us help you get ahead of the IRS and defend your rights while you still have time. The Lance Story Law Firm is located here in St. Louis, so take the first step and hire a tax resolution attorney. We've made it super easy to schedule your free consultation in person, or you can do a phone call and save travel time. Remember, IRS problems are legal problems. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm. Call today at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to use less gas in your car. You can carpool to work a couple of days a week, use public transportation like buses or trains, combine errands to make fewer trips, and take a walk for any distances of a mile or less. And think about an electric car when looking for your next vehicle. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, a million things for our planet. What's your one thing? Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together, millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to recycle more. Recycle paper, bottles, and cans. Reuse paper and plastic bags and get a reusable bag for groceries. Recycle old clothes by donating them to charity. And recycle old electronics like TVs, computers, and cell phones at appropriate e-waste facilities. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's corporate cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. ramp.com/free.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing: not running out of money. Steve All and the team at the All Financial Group can help you develop a retirement income stream that fits your idea of the perfect retirement. Call 636-230-8824 or go to yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, LLC. The All Financial Group and Retirement Wealth Advisors are not affiliated. The All Financial Group is a financial services firm that offers a broad array of products and services, including life insurance and annuities, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
We're back! Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors on KMOX.
Chris and Amy show. Nate Gatter today. Chris Ranji. Amy's out. Scott Jagout from the newsroom is in. We always talk about roaming St. Louis and three good things happening over the weekend. I know one of those good things for you. Let's talk about this real quick. Your goofy Buffalo Bills are playing. Goofy. So tell me how you feeling.
Of course, I'm anxious, but I feel pretty good because 6 weeks ago, the percentage that the Bills would get the 2 seed in the AFC was 0.1%. And they got the 2 seed in the AFC. by winning 5 straight games, beating good teams. They beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. They beat the Dolphins in Miami. They lost to the Eagles in overtime. That was their only loss in this stretch. So I feel like the team has come together. I love Josh Allen. He's incredible. The defense is playing well. We had a special teams punt return the other day. Little things like that are just kind of flags for a championship team to me.
I have a friend who, for some reason, is a Buffalo Bills fan. This dude is let me give you all of his teams. And then you can, if I tell you the era that it happened, it'll all make sense. It's like he formed all of his teams in one particular 8-year span. So he is a Notre Dame football, Cubs baseball, Kentucky basketball, Buffalo Bills fan. So all the teams that were really good when he was growing up.
Okay.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's
all right.
who
Well,
he picked for all of his teams.
Whatever works for him. I'm from there, so it's in my blood.
He's not.
Yeah. No,
I'm a grandparent from Buffalo. Yeah. Okay.
Our Bills Mafia, St. Louis Bills Mafia, we have some people who are former Rams fans because they were looking for a new team to pull for. And the Bills are, sometimes appealing. Lately, they've been appealing. I mean, I don't know. These people decided several years ago. I don't know what they were thinking because the Bills were terrible. So,
hey, listen, I appreciate
God
what
bless
they
them.
do. I really appreciate the Bills Mafia and how insane they all are. You going to break some tables this weekend?
Probably not.
Okay.
We rarely break tables.
It's an AFC championship activity.
Yeah, I mean,
they're 10-point
we
favorites
did
against
one
Pittsburgh.
guy.
It's a weekly activity for them.
In
Buffalo,
a
not
tailgate
at the
party.
Shamrock Pub.
At the Shamrock, we only did it once. Well, we did it twice.
Once was by accident.
The guy comes in, he says, "I want to break a table." And we had and then
break a table.
and then he ended up separating his rib cartilage.
Oh, okay.
But the other one we did was we had an infant. She broke a little table.
I saw right.
I think I told you that before.
Sort
it
of
was like a
thing?
baptism.
Yeah.
Welcome to Bills fandom. And we had this little table and just set her down on it.
That's hilarious. You guys came up with that on your own? You never seen anybody do that? That's hysterical.
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool.
I love that.
Before we have to say goodbye here, we don't have a ton of time. You went to the Moonrise Hotel for roaming St. Louis. Did they have a trolley up there?
There's a trolley.
There's a trolley?
There's a trolley. It's not running right now because the weather is 0.0.
Oh, okay.
No, the Moonrise is pretty cool. It's another Joe Edwards thing. He runs
Nice
the loop,
place.
basically. It's pretty neat, though. He's got all these artifacts related to lunar things. I mean, he has a patch that was worn on the moon. He has a photo taken with Neil Armstrong, who was very reclusive. He drove 6 hours to get this photo. He went to this hotel where Armstrong was having some sort of speech or celebrating somebody's birthday or something. I don't know how he found out about it. Anyway, he comes off the elevator, Armstrong, and there is Joe Edwards waiting to talk to him. He said he got 15 minutes with him, and he has a
That's
photo.
cool.
Yeah, stuff like that. He's got little pieces of the moon, and it's a pretty cool hotel. And the rooftop bars are
bar's great.
excellent.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, you can go in there and you're not staying there. You can go up and enjoy the rooftop bars and check out the collection of the stuff that Edwards has in there. It's cool.
If you're hanging out on Del Mar, going up there, that's a really cool spot.
Yeah.
I love the Moonrise Hotel. 3 good things this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I've started thinking about it, and I definitely was inspired a little bit by the Alton mayor who came on Total Information AM this week to talk about MLK Day, and he talked about his moment in 1968 when he was watching it on TV, and he was assassinated. His father was sitting there, and his father cried. He'd never seen his father cry, and he was just explaining how he didn't understand why his father was crying at the time. But then as he got older, he started to realize, wow, this person was a beacon of hope for African Americans. And I understand why my father was crying. So I'm just kind of starting there because it is MLK Day on Monday. And I definitely want to touch on that with 3 good things.
So 3 good things and roaming St. Louis Sunday morning.
You can catch those in the 8 and 9 o'clock hours.
Good luck to you and your Bills, man.
It's going to be quite a snowstorm. It looks like a foot of snow.
I'll tell you this, 65 mile an hour winds.
No, lovely.
Foot of snow.
Walking around snow is
20
David called it.
Walking around snow.
In Buffalo, it's just walking
Tell you
around
what,
snow.
I don't know many Bills fans. Every time I watch the Bills now, I think about Scott because Scott is a real Bills fan.
There's no question.
See, and I have been wanting them to lose because of my buddy,
You can't
but I
now.
can't now.
No,
because
you can't.
You'll
because
feel
I know
terrible.
you, and I want it for you. I can see how
Oh
nervous
my God,
you are.
I'm nervous.
You should be.
Yeah.
All right, good luck.
All right, thanks, man.
To you and Buffalo Justin texting into the show at 314-436-7900. Final hour is next on KMOX.
Hey, folks, this is Charlie Brennan. For more than 25 years, I've learned there are a lot of reasons to appreciate the doctor's doctors. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer at Ophthalmology Associates. You know, they treat more doctors than any other practice in St. Louis. They're also available for emergency calls. In fact, I might point out that I had a serious eye problem earlier this year while traveling in Arizona. I got a treatment plan and a prescription over the phone at 314-966-5000. One more benefit of Ophthalmology Associates. Also, the doctor's doctors are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon with the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment. So now it's Birdie, Malhotra, Brusati, Royer, and Berry, the best doctors to see for your best vision in St. Louis. 314-966-5000 and youridoc.com.
How much do you worry about your debt?
With over $15,000 I owe, constantly it keeps me awake at night.
Accelerated debt settlement can cut your debt by up to 85% and in as little as 7 to 12 months.
I could be free of debt in no time?
That's right. Other debt settlement companies can take years to negotiate down your debt, but accelerated debt settlement moves fast.
The sooner I don't have to stress about my debt, the better.
Exactly. In just months, Accelerated Debt Settlement's legal team will negotiate your unsecured debt down 60, 80, even 100%. Your debt from credit cards, student loans, timeshares, medical expenses, and more cut down 60, 80, even 100%. And you'll save thousands of dollars in interest payments.
Finally, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
And a good night's sleep.
Now get free of debt in a year or less with Accelerated Debt Settlement. Just call 1-888-959-4495 and we'll get to work for you. That's 1-888-959-4495. 1-888-959-4495.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Have you been wanting to find the secret to losing weight and getting healthy the natural way without drugs or injections? Hey everyone, it's Dr. Michael Glickert with St. Louis Weight Loss Secret, and I know the secret to losing a half a pound to a pound of fat every day, naturally, safely, and effectively, without counting points or calories, no prepackaged meals, no hormones, no drugs, no injections or surgery. Schedule a free consultation now at moweightloss.com.
Hey, this is Debbie Monterey, and I just would like to reiterate what Dr. Glickert said, that you can lose a half a pound to a pound per day with St. Louis Weight Loss Secret. And I can say that with confidence because that's what happened for me. Getting on the scale every morning, losing a half a pound to a pound was extremely motivating to stay on my plan. I lost 20 pounds in the first month. I've lost over 40 pounds altogether using St. Louis Weight Loss Secret. It really is not that hard when you follow their plan. Find out more by going to moweightloss.com. moweightloss.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we have rain, 48 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. A massive winter storm sweeping across the northern U.S. with blinding snow in some places, freezing rain in others, and whipping winds and bitterly cold temperatures across several states. At least one death suspected from the latest round of dangerous weather. A man believed dead after an avalanche in the Idaho backcountry. Heavy snow and strong winds made driving impossible in parts of Iowa. And there was also black ice reported in Kansas City, Missouri, that brought traffic to a standstill. Let's get the latest on the forecast for the St. Louis region with meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's a messy Friday afternoon around town as our rain goes to a mix of rain, sleet, and wet snow, then going to all snow. That all snow kick should be around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. we've hit the warmest of the day. We'll be down to 28 degrees by about 5 or 6 o'clock. Strong winds throughout the afternoon. Tonight, snow ends early evening, 1, maybe 2 inches. It's going to be an interesting snow because for the most part, whatever we see is going to be wet and sloppy. But the very tail end of the snow, as the cold air comes in, it should kick that sloppy wet snow into a very fine, dry snow for maybe an hour or so. Strong winds throughout the night. We could see some wind gusts 45 to 55 miles per hour. 12 for the low, wind chills near zero. Saturday, partly sunny, strong winds all day. 22 for the high, wind chills near zero. Saturday night, clouds and snow flurries, strong winds, 2 for the low. The wind chill Saturday night, minus 15. Dangerous, dangerous cold. Sunday, clouds. There could be a little bit of dry snow kicking in here mid to late afternoon on Sunday. The high 10 degrees, wind chills minus 20 on Sunday night. Snow ends in the evening, 1, 2, maybe 3. Let's think in that 1 to 3 category. It's a really dry, fine snow, though leaning more towards the low side right now. The low temperature Sunday night, minus 2. The wind chill, minus 10. On Monday, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Snow flurries, 10 for the high. The wind chill, minus 20 degrees. Besides the cold coming in here, the winds are going to be quite incredible today, tonight, and Saturday. And there will be trees coming down, and there will be some power lines coming down. So kind of prepare, be ahead of the game for the shot of some power failures. Power failures in this kind of cold is not any fun. I'm meteorologist Dave Murray for the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Looking at the radar this hour, it looks like most of the snowfall right now is in Whiteside and Silex, moving into the Troy area. Otherwise, it's just a very solid band of rain stretching from St. Charles all the way into the Metro East. Stay with KMOX for the latest on the weather as it develops. Israel says that South Africa is distorting the facts about its war in Gaza in day 2 of South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the World Court. South Africa has asked judges to order Israel to immediately cease its military campaign. Lauren Comato reports the fact that Israel is responding at The Hague shows they take the allegations seriously.
The court will issue its ruling within the next few weeks, which is legally binding. But the problem is it's not enforceable. Russia didn't listen to the court's order, and the U.S. also hasn't listened when it was accused of mining Nicaragua's harbors back in the 80s. It also didn't show up for court. So it's very hard to enforce, but at the same time, in terms of the court of public opinion, adding genocide into the mix likely will have an influence on the way people talk about and view the conflict.
From the KMOX Business Desk, Missouri's 6 professional sports teams have launched a campaign to get sports betting before the state's voters. The initiative petition campaign hopes to get the issue on the ballot in November. The measure has failed repeatedly in the Missouri legislature. The Dow from Stifel this hour down 198 points at 37,512. The S&P 500 is down 7 points at 4,772. And one traffic note for you, they have opened up southbound 270 at Page. The right-hand lane, though, remains blocked, and it looks like we've still got a significant backup southbound 270 as you approach Page. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show, sponsored by Summer at SLU. Find your kids' best summer yet at St. Louis University. Time to rewind. It's the Chris and Amy Rewind Recap.
Oh, what a day. We started by, by the way, Nate Gatter is here. He's in for Amy Marks Course, who was on her vacation. I said her vacation like it's the first one that's happened.
Well, it's the first one of the year, I think.
First one of the year. As far as we know, we're only 12 days in, but look at her go.
The last one of 2023 was what, December 26th to 29th, and now January 11th and 12th.
That's correct.
Not bad.
Last, and you know that because you were in for her.
I was.
So you were just in for her.
She basically pays my bills, though, so I appreciate that.
If it weren't for Amy Marks Course, you'd have no income.
I'd be in trouble.
You really would. Nate says thanks, Amy.
Yeah, count one for Amy.
So started off the show talking with Hancock and Kelly about, we talked football, actually. We spent a little bit of time talking about the Kansas City Chiefs, who are going to play in absolutely frigid temperatures tomorrow, a game which is only free in the St. Louis area on KMOX. You otherwise have to go pay for Peacock if you don't have it. in order to watch the game tomorrow. But you can listen to it right here, 7 o'clock kickoff. In fact, we've got NFL playoffs all Saturday. So both games are here live on this fine radio station and the Odyssey app. Tickets for the game right now, if you want to go, StubHub, Nate Gatter. How much do you think it is to go to see the Chiefs play the Dolphins tomorrow in a playoff game?
With or without fees?
Prior to fees.
I bet you
StubHub.
could get in if you were just looking single ticket in the upper bowl. I bet you could get in for $50, $55.
$44 right now is the cheapest ticket. If you're looking for a pair, you get 44, 47. A lot of these tickets available because tomorrow,
wear your parka.
The kickoff tomorrow, -2, pre-wind chill, and it's supposed to be down to about 35, -35 with the wind chill. So good luck. Have a good time. Good luck to the Chiefs. And again, we'll be here on KMOX. We also discussed the Iowa caucuses coming up, and that is next week, just 3 days away from that, right? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we're 3 days away from the Iowa caucuses, which will, it's going to be a big day for the GOP as they try to move closer to a nomination, which I think all of us believe Trump is going to win in Iowa even, and win the nomination overall because, well, he's just got ridiculous amounts of support among Republicans right now. But it will be interesting to see what happens, Nate, because the weather is so bad early next week in Iowa. If people come out, and who it's going to benefit, Hancock and Kelly think it benefits Trump.
Makes sense. I mean, it makes sense to me just intuitively. They have so much more expertise than I have, but it makes sense that the person with the most fanatical support is probably going to benefit from more obstacles being put between his voters and the act of voting.
Yes. We also discussed the Southwest Airlines tweet from a couple of days ago where they just sort of highlighted the fact they had 6 females on the flight crew, and that was it. There were 2 female pilots and then 4 female flight attendants. And certain parts of extreme conservative right-wing Twitter took exception to it because of what has become an anti-diversity, equity, and inclusion, so DEI measures. There is a group of people that has led a charge against DEI generally around the country, saying it's a bad thing. I don't. And I don't think generally it's a bad thing. I think sometimes in some areas, in some places with some managers, it might be implemented poorly. But by and large, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing when you tell companies, hey, you're still hiring on merit ultimately, but also maybe you should pay attention to some groups that you haven't paid attention to because there are a lot of qualified people who are minorities, who are women, who don't even get the look in the first place. And I liken it to the Rooney Rule in football. In the NFL, where teams, when they have a head coaching opening, are required to interview or at least make contact with a couple of minority candidates. And the reason that is done is that despite the fact 3/4 of the league, the players, are black, it's still something like 3/4, if not more. And I think actually this year it's probably 80 or 90% of the coaches are white. Even though the league is heavily weighted toward black players, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that those black players don't filter into head coaching positions. But what has happened historically is owners of teams and general managers, they tend to hire people who look like them. That happens everywhere.
Yeah, I think that's most people. That's what I was going to say before, is that generally most people, whether they're conscious of it or not, this is sort of along the lines of the nepotism or funneling things on purpose. It can happen subconsciously that people tend to just favor other people who look like them, whether in job circumstances or any others. People tend to gravitate toward people with whom they think they share similarities. And if you don't know a person and you're just looking at them, then you're left to rely on things like gender and race and, I don't know, hairstyle, things that are cosmetic that make you think that person is similar to you.
And I'm sure that there is some racism involved in some hiring situations with some managers. but I think most of the time it's just subconscious. I don't think that people are actively like, oh, I'm not going to hire this black guy. I don't want that. I don't think people do that. Again, it does happen, I'm sure, but these efforts are, to me, overall good. Not that it's being implemented perfectly or well in all situations, but for the most part, I think it is. Because all you're doing is saying, hey, what typically happens is you hire somebody who looks like you. So maybe give a look to somebody else that you haven't even considered. I can't look at that as a bad thing at all.
Nor should you, I don't think.
No, but I do know that some people take exception to it. We had texters who say, and have been texting into the show, that I have no chance of advancement at my company because I'm not a minority. We've had a couple of those, 314-436-7900. And I'm not saying, again, that it doesn't happen for you in your specific instance, but it also could be that maybe whoever gets hired in front of you is deemed to be more qualified, even if they're a minority hire because of their resume. And again, not in all situations, but I think by and large, it is a good thing. We also talked to Mike Claiborne because it is winter warm-up weekend here in St. Louis at Busch Stadium and Ballpark Village. Tomorrow, the festivities begin. The Cardinals Caravan is ongoing.
You probably will. I don't know how significant, how big it's going to be because, and basically those contracts were done, they're really not budget busters, more or less. I mean, those are just contracts that they were going to have to do anyway. But this team isn't finished yet. I don't think, they'll go into spring training and get a look at some people. And if they need to go out and get somebody, they will. There's a lot of good players that are still without jobs right now. So I think we just have to stand by and see what happens.
That's Mike Claiborne about the signings, the arbitration signings to avoid arbitration that happened yesterday by the Cardinals, Ryan Helsley being one of them. So some players getting their contracts locked up for 2024. And then the likelihood of what they do outside of it if they make additional moves. And I think you can see maybe something happening, but I agree with Claves. There's not going to be anything of real significance that happens between now and spring training next month.
I think that's probably right. I mean, we heard even Bill DeWitt III saying publicly that he doesn't anticipate they'll do anything to add any significant payroll from where they are now. It depends, I guess, on the definition of the word significant. But I would think even a trade for Dylan Cease, if you imagine it's going to include giving up minor league players or maybe major league players who are on rookie contracts and making something approaching the minimum salary, even Dylan Cease at his arbitration number could be interpreted. I mean, I think a lot of people, if you ask them, do you consider, $8-10 million a significant amount of money, they would say yeah, and that would probably be the increase in payroll that you're looking at adding a Dylan Cease. So even that maybe would be difficult financially, but I do think if there is going to be any sort of significant addition from a personnel standpoint, at this point, obviously it's much more likely to be in a trade for somebody like that who is under control. Yeah. Beyond that, I think bullpen guys are easily the most likely. I'd be surprised if you got even like a bench bat because they have so many of those guys already, even with trading away Richie Palacios.
Yeah, I don't. I would be stunned if they did, but I will say this: if they did go bold and they acquired somebody like Cease, man, I think now you're really talking. They did a lot of work to make the rotation better during the offseason. They certainly did.
I don't think you're really talking yet, though. I mean, no. I looked at the rotation as basically where it was.
Hold on.
Before.
In this division, absolutely, you're talking. Because this is still a winnable division. It's not great. It's still winnable.
That's true.
But when you say up against the Dodgers and teams like that,
I'm just putting them up against the rotation from last year. I don't know that it's dramatically better. Essentially, you replaced Montgomery with Gray, and you replaced Flaherty and Wainwright with Lynn and Gibson. Is that an improvement? Probably a marginal one, but not a significant one. And I think, Flaherty at least has the upside of in any given year, let alone, even in any given start, if he's on his A game, he can be great. I don't know that any of those guys except Sonny Gray has the upside of even Flaherty, let alone the upside and consistency combination that Montgomery showed. So for me, the rotation is on the whole, if it's better, only marginally better right now. Now, obviously, adding somebody like Dylan Cease would dramatically change that conversation, but For me right now, I don't feel like the Cardinals are significantly better than they were last year. And if you feel like their chances are significantly better in the division, it's only because of a regression to the mean that last year was an unusually unlucky, lousy year. And I could buy that they're likely to improve even if they just ran out the same 26 guys from last season, because last season was sort of an underperformance. But I don't feel like on paper the team is significantly better. Do you?
I think the rotation is better than it was last year. Yeah.
Where do you see which one of those guys?
Define significant. Are we talking like 25 to 30% better? Probably that.
Which one of those guys do you see as the biggest improvement?
Number.
I guess Wainwright
Sonny
was
Gray,
so lousy
probably.
last year, but you see Sonny Gray being significantly better than Jordan Montgomery.
Significantly better than him?
Because I look at it as Gray replacing Montgomery and Lynn replacing Flaherty and Gibson replacing Wainwright, or you can flop those two guys, whatever you want.
We talked about this yesterday. MLB Network did a list of top 10 starting pitchers in baseball, and Gray was 10.
Yeah.
And Montgomery is good. I think Gray is better, and I think he has potential to be better if he stays healthy. But he has potential to be a lot better if he stays healthy. So in that regard, I think they are better there. So maybe 25 to 30% better in the rotation, which is that's a good number.
Bullpen shaping up to be better too. The Kittredge edition, I think, was a good one at cost.
Yeah, what I'm counting on is, and maybe this is just hopeful, but what I'm counting on is the rest of the division kind of coming back a little bit. But
Cincinnati,
I'm concerned about
scares
Cincinnati.
me.
Yes, they're young and they're getting better. It's a question of how much are they interested in investing and making the team better, which I don't know that they are. The Brewers, they're a weird team.
I never know what to do with the
I don't
Brewers.
either. And also, I would say the Cubs, that's the one that scares me the most.
Really?
Because
The Cubs scare you more than Cincinnati?
Because they have resources and they will use them.
Yeah.
That's Nate Gatter. I'm Chris Ranji. An evening with Oliver Marmol, the Cardinals manager, is coming up January 18th at Tapawingo Golf Club. And this is an opportunity for you to get dinner, drinks, and be part of a Q&A session, an intimate Q&A session with the manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. Tom Ackerman will be there hosting. You get to ask questions. Tom will ask him some questions. It is $75 a person, but that gets you dinner. It gets you a couple of drinks. It gets you intimate time with the Cardinals manager, who will, not that kind of intimate, you weirdo. Don't do that, Nate. It gets you a good opportunity to get the Cardinals manager in a situation that you hold on, don't do that again. Don't do that. I don't mean it like that. See,
You just made it worse.
Now, okay, I did make it worse.
I had given you fair warning and you just dove in.
What I'm saying is, Oliver Marmol, you usually don't get him, in a small environment.
He's usually not so exposed. Is
He's
what you're
not
saying.
so. You know what? You better stop it. We're going to be in so much trouble now. Usually they're guarded. They won't be as guarded. He's not going to be as guarded when it's his people. You could be part of the
I
whole
agree
thing.
with what you're saying. To be clear,
$75 for dinner, drinks. with
and
Oliver
I
Marmol.
think Oliver Marmol also is a very straight up guy. I mean, when he comes on KMOX, especially with Tom Ackerman on Sunday mornings, I think he's very straight up to begin with. So I would anticipate that you'll get it straight from him that night.
$75, dinner, drinks, an evening with Oliver Marmol, Tapawingo Golf Club. Tom Ackerman, as I mentioned, is there. Also, KMOX.com/events. Tickets are selling, so you need to get on it. All right? Do it. And we've got Billy Joel and Sting tickets to give away. We will do that before the show is over on KMOX.
2 ways to listen to KMOX in your car. 98.7 in the city, 1120 AM further out. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, this is Ken Newbold for Newbold Toyota and Newbold BMW, a family-owned dealership group that has been around for 50 years as a Toyota dealer and 25 years in O'Fallon, Illinois. So come see us. That's Newbold Toyota in O'Fallon or NewboldToyota.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
For by government.com.
The 1878 to 1921 Morgan Silver Dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan Silver Dollar coin was struck for circulation. And now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right. You can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan Silver Dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure collector-grade U.S. Morgan Silver Dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American Collector's Pack valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan Silver Dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-973-9819. That's 1-800-973-9819.
Did you know that your annual eye exam can save your life? That's right. Amy Mark Scores here for Ophthalmology Associates. You know, there are certain health conditions that can be discovered early and be more treatable with your complete eye exam. Conditions like high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, thyroid disorder, skin cancer, Parkinson's, MS, and other conditions. That's why it's so important to make your appointment with the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry. You can call them now at 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, and know that your yearly eye exam is covered by most health insurance plans. Give them a call, 314-966-5000, 314-966-5000, or yourEyeDoc.com.
Jackson Hewitt has a plan to get your tax refund fast with a buck here, a buck there, here a buck, there a buck, everywhere a buck.
You don't have to wait weeks for your tax refund. Get money sooner with a no-fee refund advance loan at Jackson Hewitt.
On this loan, there's a money today guarantee. E-I-E-I-Do.
Don't settle for chicken feed. Get fast bucks at Jackson Hewitt today. No-fee refund advance loans by Republic Bank offered to eligible clients. Money today guarantee if approved for a loan on a prepaid card. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
News, talk, sports. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Hey, so Travis Kelce's retiring, huh? Oh, wait.
He is not.
No, he's not. Or is he? Because people have been talking about this. You know, he's not had his best season. He's been dating Taylor Swift. That's all anybody talks about, which I love. But I'm so happy they're in love. And they probably tell each other that I love you. And I think that's nice. I think it's nice to see two people in love. But Travis Kelce, as they get ready for the wild card game tomorrow, which you can hear right here on KMOX, he was asked that question, are you done after this season?
You guys think about retirement? Am I the only one in this boat? No. Is anybody else in this thing? All right, whoever's not thinking about stuff down the road, you know, I blame you. I think it's just, I have no reason to stop playing football, man. I love it. We still have success. Come in with the right mindset, and I just love the challenge that it gives me every single day to try and be at my best. And like I said, I have no desire to stop anytime soon.
But you said you thought about it. What would you do if you weren't playing football?
That's the point. The off season, being able to get out there and really find what you love to do. And I've been fortunate to do a few things outside of the sports world that I've been enjoying doing, like getting on camera. The SNL stuff kind of opened up a new happiness and maybe a new career path for me. But it's funny for me to even say that at this point in my career, because I think it's so much further down the road than it is right now.
Okay, so there it is. Travis Kelce is not retiring after this year. You don't have to worry about that if you're a Chiefs fan, unless you want him to for some reason. But this idea, and there have been these rumors that his team, post football, want to take him in a sort of an acting direction, like what The Rock has done with his career. Which I like Travis Kelce.
That might be a little bit of a stretch.
I don't know that that's his. And I know he does commercials. He acts in commercials, but I don't know that that's his future.
So it's one thing, I think, in some ways, it's probably a little bit harder. And obviously, The Rock did it, but it's probably a little bit harder for people who are already that famous as themselves to then play a character believably, right? I think when you walk into the movie theater, Travis Kelce's only ever played himself. If you walked into the movie theater and Travis Kelce is the lead playing some fictional character in a serious drama, that's a hurdle for him to clear. But he's had a good season.
He does
I
have
don't
an
think he's retiring.
He does have an IMDb page. He was in a show called Moonbase 8. I don't know. That's what it says right here. Anyway, he's not going anywhere. That's Nate Gatter. I'm Chris Ranji. You've got KMOX.
Hey guys, it's Dave from The Dave Glover Show, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. on KMOX. This promo is going to sound like everyone else's promo, but everyone else's promo is a lie. They're just copying off of us. We are the original show about nothing. We're the original show about everything. We're just a bunch of smart people acting stupid and stupid people acting smart. And when you put it all together, it's a pretty good mix. We are 23 years in, and we are STLAF. That's the DGS, 1 to 5 p.m. KMOX.
Hey, it's Tom Ackerman for the Bath Authority. If your bath or shower is old, outdated, has mold and mildew, or broken tiles, you have to call my friends at the Bath Authority. The Bath Authority provides the highest quality bathroom remodeling products along with a world-class customer experience. It comes with a lifetime warranty, walk-in tubs, replacement showers, tub-to-shower conversions, and more. TheBathAuthority.com. A better bath awaits.
Ouch! Checked from behind. Man, that's gotta hurt. I'd hire Morgan & Morgan if I were them. What? Yeah, Dan, America's largest injury law firm. They serve up justice, ice, cold, law. Know what I mean? I guess. Their gloves come off when they fight for you. Okay. I'm talking a settlement slap shot. Shouldn't we be talking about the game? Yeah, Dan, Morgan & Morgan.
Proud partner of the St. Louis Blues. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
ForByGovernment.com.
The 1878 to 1921 Morgan Silver Dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan Silver Dollar coin was struck for circulation, and now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government-struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right, you can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan Silver Dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure collector-grade U.S. Morgan Silver Dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American Collector's Pack valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9819 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan Silver Dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-973-9819. That's 1-800-973-9819.
At 12:30, we have some rain around the area, cloudy skies otherwise, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, CBS reporting. The governor of New York preparing to declare a state of emergency ahead of what could be 20 inches of snow in the western part of that state. Severe weather blanketing the Midwest as well. Flights in and out of Chicago disrupted today. Kansas City dealing with icy conditions. For us right now, it looks like the rain, most of it has moved off to the east of the immediate St. Louis area. And most of the snow that's coming in is well to the north of the St. Louis area, Keokuk, Iowa, moving into Macomb, Illinois. Israel has reached an agreement with Qatar that could ensure hostages being held by Hamas will get the medicine they need. CBS News reporter Christopher Cruz has details.
In a statement, the office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the deal, quote, will allow the entry of medicines for the hostages held by the Hamas terrorist organization in Gaza. It said the medications would reach the hostages in the next few days. Hamas still holds about 120 hostages. 110 have been released since they were kidnapped on October 7th when Hamas attacked southern Israel. Israel has claimed some of the hostages have medical conditions and need medicines to stay alive. Christopher Cruz, CBS News.
Israel says South Africa is distorting the facts about its war in Gaza in day 2 of South Africa's genocide case against Israel at the World Court. South Africa has asked judges to order Israel to immediately cease its military campaign. Checking the roads, a couple of problems out there. We're just hearing about a crash eastbound 270 at West Florissant. 3 cars involved in that. Also an accident, it looks like on 270 around 170, and it looks like that accident may be headed eastbound as well. So use caution out there. A little bit of rain in that area as well. Checking that forecast for the afternoon, it looks like the temperatures are starting to dip already. They're going to fall into the upper 20s by this evening as rain changes over to snowfall. We're expecting an overnight low around 13 for tomorrow. Variably cloudy, windy, and cold, a high near 19. Right now, 45 in Florissant, 39 in St. Peters, 46 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch, KMOX News.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com. Broadcasting from the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
When you hire your local CertaPro painters, you get
the power of a cut above.
Decades of expertise to transform your home. From so-so to virtuoso.
The power of neighborhood painters.
We live where you live and probably like the same pizza place you do. Put
the power of pro
to work for you today. Get your project started at CertaPro.com.
Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated.
At Neovitin, we are all about supporting your nutrition, and that's why we are excited about our new Neovitin Omega-3 supplement. Neovitin Omega-3 is formulated with 1,200 milligrams of omega-3 fatty acids to help support healthy hearts. Our high-quality omega-3 fish oils are sourced from wild-caught fish and tested for heavy metals. With our convenient monthly subscription, you can get Neovitin Omega-3 delivered right to your door every month with no long-term obligations. Support your daily nutrition and sign up for a Neovitin Omega-3 subscription at neovitin.com today.
AMCO presents Bet You Didn't Know.
Bet you didn't know that your car's transmission is made up of 800 pieces. Also, bet you didn't know that AMCO's fixed over 40 million transmissions and that AMCO offers a nationwide warranty.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
That's AMCO, AA-MCO.
Monday nights at 6, it's the Billikens Coaches Show featuring Travis Ford, live from Humphrey's Restaurant and Tavern on the voice of the Billikens, KMOX.
What I'm proposing is that we in St. Charles County start broadening and giving more educational options to parents for their kids. School choice has kind of been a topic that us in the legislature have been grappling with, trying to figure out how we can give parents more choices when it comes to their children's education. And charter schools, in my opinion, is one of those steps to get there.
That's Representative Justin Hicks, who was on the Chris and Amy show earlier in the week, an interview that you can go back and listen to on the Odyssey app, AUDACY, also KMOX.com. You can catch our show live. But at any point, you can listen to that or go back and get the podcast, whatever you missed. It's all there. The Justin Hicks interview is there for you as well. And to get the other side of this issue and the possibility of charter schools coming to St. Charles County, we bring in on the Quiver River Electric guest line Ted House, who is the co-founder of St. Charles County Families for Public Schools. And Mr. House is with us on KMOX. Hey, we appreciate your time. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Chris and Nate. Thank you for the invitation. I got to say, it's really cool to be on the Quiver River Electric guest line because I'm on the board of directors of Quiver River Electric Cooperative, and we appreciate KMOX.
Well, we appreciate you being part of this whole thing. That's great to know. Tell the Quiver River people we said hello. I've never met any of them until you.
They are great people.
So, and actually, I was told that you are good friends with John Hancock, because I told John that you're going to be on the show, and he said, "Oh, my guy Ted House."
I served in the Missouri legislature with John Hancock. We loved his imitations of John Ashcroft and Ronald Reagan, and his ragtime piano. He kept everything light, and he is wonderful, as is Mr. Kelly, his partner.
Michael Kelly, they are both terrific people, and I love them, and I love their relationship with each other, because they're coming from different viewpoints politically, but they get along great. And I think we can all really look at that and use that as an example and try to live that way. It's been very, very difficult, I know, with the political environment lately. And you are coming from a different viewpoint on when it comes to charter schools. When you hear Mr. Hicks, who we had earlier this week, talk about it, how do you respond to, first of all, what you heard him say as we began the segment?
Well, we have formed St. Charles County Families for Public Schools to protect public education. And when you think about it, at a time when so much in society divides us, our public schools unite us. Our public schools bring us together. They provide a sense of community. And the question I have is, why do we want to take some of the best public schools in the state of Missouri and tear them apart, fragment them into pieces where everyone segregates themselves and retreats into their corners? We think charter schools in St. Charles County would be devastating for our local school districts.
One of the things that he cited, and I asked him essentially why he wanted to do this, and we've heard this refrain a lot over the last couple of years about, and he didn't use the word indoctrination, but he sort of alluded to it, and he said that when it comes to math class, teachers should be teaching math and not teaching social issues, and I'm paraphrasing. How much of a problem is that really? Because we hear about it like it is a massive problem in public schools.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate that there is this effort to undermine the public's confidence in our public schools. Fact of the matter is, people like their schools, they like their teachers, they like having strong neighborhood schools. But really, this bill, I think, is part of a larger effort to undermine public education. We're seeing bills to provide open enrollment, pitting one school district against another. We see bills to eliminate the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. We see bills to expand vouchers and tax credits that divert money from our local schools to private schools, to defund public education and privatize our schools. So, we think that all of that is a bad idea. Schools can certainly always improve, but we want to fix them rather than try to dismantle them. One of the real concerns that we have about charter schools is that their boards are unelected. They're not nearly as accountable to the taxpayers as are our regular school districts. We've heard that argument, that proponents argue that charter schools provide options, but what they don't say is that charter schools take away the most important option that families need and want. That is a great, high quality public school in your neighborhood. And we need public schools with the resources and the economy of scale to meet the needs of students of different abilities. So it seems to us that if it's not broke, don't fix it. And charter schools would fragment our local school districts that would be really counterproductive in terms of what's best for improving academic performance and opportunity for our children.
Ted, to that last point, I think you do hear people say sort of what's wrong with more choice. So could you detail for us a little bit of some of the ways that you think the public schools would be undermined, that the experience that essentially what you said, neighborhoods would lose great public schools by virtue of charter schools' existence?
Yeah, the best option families want, is a high quality public school in their neighborhood. And if we erode that, if we take away a good portion of their money, or it would be very damaging to the community. Think about it. We can't find the teachers that we need as it is right now. Our school districts are having difficulty staffing. There's been a very high turnover in teachers, due in part to this attack on public education. So how are we going to staff 10, 15, 20 new different charter schools with qualified educators? I mean, I think it would be a very inefficient duplication of resources.
The argument is, Ted, one of them is that there are that these schools are getting too much money in some cases, and there's a lot of bloat, and administrators are mismanaging that money. And that's really part of the problem when it comes to schools. Is that not something that should be a concern?
Well, efficient management and transparency and accountability is very much a concern. This kind of gets into the larger issue surrounding our effort to support public education. But ask any real estate agent. The most important thing for maintaining property values in a thriving community is great local public schools. And with charters, we lose that. Certainly, we can make schools more efficient. I mean, any bureaucracy can be made more efficient, but our view is we are in no danger in the state of Missouri of overfunding public education. Depending on the criteria, we rank 45th, 48th, 49th among the 50 states in our funding for public schools. And I don't think giving too much to our public schools or paying our teachers too much is a problem in our region.
When we spoke to Representative Hicks early in the week, I asked him the question, what do people in your area want? He says they want this. They want the charter schools. Is that what you're hearing?
No, I've actually never heard that. I had the privilege to serve the people of St. Charles County and other counties for 32 years in elected office. I don't think I once had a constituent or citizen come up to me and say, "Hey, Ted, we need to divide up our public schools and create a bunch of little charter schools." I mean, nobody ever said that to me. I don't think there's a demand for that at all. I mean, when charter schools were conceived, in the 1990s, when it was initially passed in the legislature, it seemed that could be a viable option for underperforming schools. But unfortunately, in most cases, charters have not improved learning outcomes. The data is very disappointing on that. Many of them have simply collapsed. And just think of the damage that does to the students who are in those schools that fall apart. I wish I could say that the experiment with charter schools in the underperforming districts went better than it did, but unfortunately, their record is not that good. And I don't see any appetite for this in St. Charles County, which fortunately, frankly, has some of the best school districts in the state.
Former Missouri State Senator Ted House, co-founder of St. Charles County Families for Public Schools, with us on KMOX. And one of the other things that Mr. Hicks said was that parents should be able to see the curriculum, should be able to see what the lesson plans are before their children are taught anything in schools. And again, I believe this goes back to the fear of indoctrination, or whatever you want to call it. Is that a problem in Missouri schools? And are parents able to, with public schools, see what their kids are being taught?
Yes, they are. And I think public schools want to be accountable and transparent, and that information should be available to parents. We certainly support protecting parental rights and so that parents know what's going on in the schools. But again, if we have charter schools, those boards are unelected. They're not nearly as accountable to taxpayers, and so I don't think that transparency is there with charter schools. And regretfully, where we've tried them, they have not improved learning outcomes.
Ted, your assertion is that public schools should be strengthened and not weakened. What do you think is ultimately going to happen here, and what is the plan to make sure that public schools are strong?
Well, that's one of the reasons we formed this nonpartisan political action committee called St. Charles County Families for Public Schools. I mean, there's an attack on public education, frankly, an effort to undermine public education. Again, efforts to divert the money away, to privatize education, to pit one school district against another through open enrollment, and we just need to support our schools, support our teachers, because public education is essential to a thriving community. We feel like it's the bedrock of democracy, and we need to have really good, high quality local public schools. And you don't do that if you tear them apart by fragmenting them into pieces through charter schools. So, it's just part of the overall effort to support our teachers, support our families, empower parents, and have really great public schools. That's where we need to go.
So this charter school thing is really in its early stages. What do you, if you had to try and project what's going to happen, what do you think that would be?
Well, who knows what's going to happen in this legislature? I mean, it's largely chaos, unfortunately, these days in the legislature, and I say that with a heavy heart. But they have a great deal of trouble functioning. And people are just yearning for functional, accountable, responsible civil government. And unfortunately, we're not getting that from the Missouri legislature right now. I mean, they have trouble agreeing on what day of the week it is. I would certainly hope that this bill to create charter schools in St. Charles County would not pass. And frankly, hope that they're not able to expand, the tax credits and the vouchers that diverts money away from our local schools to defund public education. I mean, what we really need is for people who care about our schools, people who care about their property values, their neighborhoods, the cohesiveness of their community, people with kids in schools, people with grandkids, to get out and vote on April the 2nd and elect school board members who really support public education, and then elect legislators that are going to stand up for our schools and not contribute to this narrative that, schools are indoctrinating our kids and teaching children to hate America and doing all these terrible things. When in fact, we've got some of the greatest school districts around, and they're full of wonderful, hardworking people who are dedicated public servants and who love children and who are dedicated to the best interests of the children and the families that they serve. Those are the public education and staff people that I know, and I think it's time to stand up for them.
Former State Senator Ted House, appreciate your time. Thank you for visiting with us today.
You are very welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Ted House, co-founder of St. Charles County Families for Public Schools, with us on KMOX. And because here on the Chris and Amy Show, it's the only show in St. Louis that cares about you. I don't think anybody else does, to be perfectly honest. All week, we have given away tickets for Billy Joel and Sting. Today's the last day we're doing it. In fact, this moment right now is the last time we are doing it for the week. Caller number 18 to 314-436-7900 will get to see Billy Joel and Sting in a one-night show at Busch Stadium, September 27th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.com. Good luck. It's Nate Gatter in for Amy Markscores. I'm Chris Ranji on KMOX.
This is Tom Ackerman. At the end of last Cardinals season, manager Oliver Marmol wanted to get together with fans, make himself available to answer all of their questions. And it is happening Thursday, January 18th at Tapawingo National Golf Club. For $75, a beef tenderloin dinner, 2 complimentary cocktails, and an intimate conversation with Ollie Marmol. Purchase your tickets today. They are online and they will go fast. KMOX.com/events.
Listen, it's no secret that most real estate agents make big promises and oftentimes end up selling their client's home for less than what the client may have been led to believe. This is not the case for Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. This is Debbie Monterey, and I will tell you that Gloria Liu does not make promises she can't keep. She makes guarantees in writing. And here's the truth. Right now, agents know that some customers will choose the agent that tells them the highest price they'll get for their home. That is a stressful way to go about it. Gloria makes it really simple by providing an upfront written guaranteed price. And if your home sells for less than the guaranteed price, she will pay you the difference. Gloria takes all the risk off the table for the home seller who is trying to get the most amount of money for their home. To get your guaranteed price, call Gloria Liu, 314-325-6888, 314-325-6888, or GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Join KMOX for an exclusive evening at Tapawingo Golf Club with St. Louis Cardinals manager Oliver Marmol and Oliver Marmol Unplugged. For just $75, enjoy a delightful beef tenderloin dinner, 2 complimentary drinks, and insightful discussions hosted by Tom Ackerman. Gain unique insights into being the Cardinals manager and what he expects for the 2024 season. Secure your tickets now at KMOX.com/events. Oliver Marmol Unplugged. Don't miss this special evening at Tapawingo Golf Club, January 18th.
The Social Security Trust Fund could run out of money in just 10 years. Does this change when you should file for your benefits? Don't miss Your Retirement Professors, Saturday afternoon at 1 on St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
I stopped smoking with Mark Patrick's hypnosis when nothing else worked. 1 year later, my wife Michelle and I attended the Mark Patrick weight loss hypnosis seminar. In 2 months, lost 43 pounds, and she lost 18 pounds. And we feel great.
Seminars Tuesday, January 30th at the 4 Points by Sheraton St. Louis Fairview Heights in Fairview Heights, and Wednesday, January 31st at the Holiday Inn Express and Suites St. Louis Airport in St. Louis. Weight loss seminar 5:30 p.m. Stop smoking seminar 8 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com. That's markpatrickseminars.com.
Major phone carriers make you sign contracts with rigid data plans to trap you into a kind of forced phonogamy. Sounds pretty insecure if you ask me. At Consumer Cellular, we believe in a more consensual and healthy form of phonogamy, free of contracts and more flexible to your data needs. This way, you stick around not because we force you to with contracts and fees, but because you love our phone plans. Like ardently love our phone plans. Phonogamously. Consumer Cellular. When freedom calls, we're here to answer. Call us at 1-888-FREEDOM.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing. Together millions of things for our planet. This new year, make some resolutions that will improve the environment. Resolve to use less gas in your car. You can carpool to work a couple of days a week. Use public transportation like buses or trains. Combine errands to make fewer trips. And take a walk for any distances of a mile or less. And think about an electric car when looking for your next vehicle. When we each share our one thing, it becomes 100 things, 1,000 things, 1,000,000 things for our planet. What's your one thing?
If you're drowning in IRS debt and can't afford to pay, then you need to take advantage of special IRS tax programs that are available and free yourself from IRS collection efforts once and for all. Due to the financial hardship consumers are facing throughout the country, the Internal Revenue Service has made it easier to settle delinquent tax problems. An open phone line has been established by Community Tax for consumers to call and see if they qualify. Take down this number or store it in your cell phone, but call the Community Tax Helpline at 800-514-1026. If you owe back taxes to the IRS and cannot afford to pay them back, or even if you have years of unfiled tax returns, there's no need to fear anymore. But you have to call the Community Tax Helpline today at 800-514-1026 for the help that you need. Don't take on the IRS alone. They can attack your wages, savings, pension, home, and even your Social Security check. Call 800-514-1026 for your free consultation and to see if you qualify. That's 800-514-1026.
With the new year, it's time to make sure you have the best vision for 2024. That means scheduling your annual eye exam with Ophthalmology Associates. Call 314-966-5000.
Hi, it's Scott and Andrea at Best Buy Flooring, sounding the alarm for all contractors. Holidays are around the corner and we have in-stock flooring for all of your projects.
Contractor pricing for carpet, luxury vinyl plank, luxury vinyl tile, carpet tile, ceramic tile, and sheet vinyl.
2 locations to serve you: 7301 North Lindbergh Boulevard in Hazelwood, Missouri, and 1851 West US Highway 50 in O'Fallon, Illinois.
Open 7 days a week.
Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy. Best Buy Flooring. Hurry in.
More Amy, more Chris. What is this weird show? It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
I don't care what you say anymore. This is my life.
My name is Stephen in St. Peter's. I'm going to the show. Hey, Stephen, St. Peter's. Steve or Stephen?
Steven.
Stephen from St. Peter's.
You kind of made it into what? Stephen St. Peter's.
Congratulations.
Stephen St. Peter's. Maybe that's his name.
Congratulations, Bubba. You're going to go see the Piano Man and the Guy from the Police at Busch Stadium, September 27th. Tickets on sale at Ticketmaster.com. And this was a fun week giving away Billy Joel stuff. The show, we've been talking, hey, you weren't here because I don't know what the hell you've been doing, Nate Gatter, filling in for Amy. We talked a lot about this Gravois Park thing with the
I heard some
surveillance
of it.
drones.
I heard some of that conversation yesterday, was it?
Yes. We talked to Alicia Sanye, who's a alderwoman, and then we talked to a resident, and nobody wanted this. Here's what was going on, briefly. A company from Washington, D.C. decided unilaterally, without contacting the city or telling anybody they were doing it, they decided that they were going to send surveillance drones to Gravois Park so that they could look out for crime. And the residents caught wind of it and said, "What are you doing?
I mean, who among us
This is a
hasn't done such
ridiculous
thing?
invasion of privacy. And you didn't run it by any of us? And you don't even live here? Well, who the hell are you?" So naturally, they were upset. Cease and desist was sent. And so the company, SMS Novel, says that after careful consideration, we have decided to withdraw the beta test from Gravois Park.
But,
however, they said they're going to pick a different neighborhood.
And not tell you.
Okay. Because his contention is, we've been doing it for 2 months. You didn't even know it.
After careful consideration, I've decided to continue doing it, but hopefully you'll shut up about
Jomo
it.
Johnson seems like a real scumbag.
I just won't tell you and hope I get away with it this time.
What an awful person. It's got to be. Anyway, Nate Gatter, thanks for hanging out. We'll be back next week. 10 o'clock on Monday, it is winter warm-up broadcast. Tom Ackerman and me will be there with you from Ballpark Village on KMOX. Go off, Queens.
Legends of Country Rock. With Pure Prairie League. Atlanta Rhythm Section.